so much. And we would like to be able to capture it. All right. Anyone else want to add? Has things gone like back to a little bit normal for y'all as well? Y'all sleeping at the right hour?
I'm getting there.
You
Getting there.
getting there?
Tuesday, I slept at the right hour.
MashaAllah.
Last
I,
night, I got on the phone with Deborah.
I took off work. So I took off work that next day. They were not going to see me at that hospital. I was done.
Me too.
Alhamdulillah. I
Me too.
appreciate that.
Yes. I didn't
And
go to
those
work
who,
on Monday.
mashallah, and those who travel from afar, thank you all so much. I do not take that for granted at all. Sister Rashida, Dr. Rashida, and Sister Sharima, alhamdulillah for journey mercies. So glad y'all made it back to your family safely.
Yeah, no, I told you I literally started a job like that week, so I didn't have the luxuries. I had to go to work that Monday, so I had to come in. But I know my family's like, "Are you still? What are you still in that meeting at the Alfie Rose?" So I think for them, they were feeling a little neglected. So here's my little 15-year-old. So yes, I'm gonna probably spend a little bit more time with her.
MashaAllah, please do. Please do. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, Amna and Halima Thomas. Okay. So let's go ahead and thanks for joining, ladies. Oh, go ahead, Camilla.
I just wanted to say that it was so great being able to work with everyone on the planning committee. I feel like we've gotten so much closer over these past months, and this really was like a labor of love. And so it was so beautiful to see all of our hard work pay off. I just wanted to say, if I hurt or offended anyone during this time, please forgive me. It was, not my intention and from Shaitan and my shortcomings. And I ask that you forgive me, and any good that obviously I've done or that any of us has done is from Allah. So, um, yeah, I ask that you forgive me, inshallah. I know that when things get tense, sometimes we can get really passionate, and but it all comes from a good place. No.
MashaAllah. Thanks. And the same for myself too. If I step on anybody's toes, offended anybody, please forgive me because I got a big mouth. I do apologize. Thanks for that. Alhamdulillah. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I'll share my screen, but I really want, I don't know, I'm going between like sharing my screen and not sharing my screen, but let me go ahead and share. I kind of want to see the whole full thing. All right. Put this here. Okay, Bismillah. So we started with the dua and gratitude. So really we want to, the purpose of the meeting is to capture the feedback, identify areas of improvement for us, and align on the vision for next year. Yeah, I believe we're about to start planning for next year already. Alhamdulillah. So what went well? Some of the things that I've noted here is a strong community turnout. I would put it at least 150 people that attended. I still haven't looked at the official list again. I know technically 168 registration, but I would say maybe 150 turnout. Um, the dedication of volunteers, subhanallah. Since we had a debrief with our volunteers yesterday, and even for those who it was their first time really working with it was just amazing to have them. And not only just to have them do the work, but come back and do the debrief with us and bring us some really golden nuggets that we'll be sharing, inshallah. And they're looking forward to being part of this again. So that's amazing. Positive guest feedback. I think some of y'all have been sharing this with us. Um, I think just about everyone has heard someone say how wonderful and amazed they were at the conference. Someone actually sent me a long note saying she thought this was like our second year doing it. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't know it was your first year. What? Alhamdulillah. The white glove service moments. I love that Sister Fatima was able to really make this a gratitude-centered hospitality type thing where, and I found myself in those positions where people would ask me questions and I almost want to be like, it's over there, just go there. I was like, no, I gotta do right. Let me show you where it is and all that stuff. So I appreciate that. And I'd like to open it to anyone else who would like to add to that list of what went well. Y'all are quiet. Halima Davenport, I've not really heard from you.
I think this is Jamila. I think the vendor selection was really good. I think the everyone and I don't know what the vendors' opinions are if they feel like they did well, but I think the options that we had for them were excellent, especially the coffee. But everything was really good. The coffee was amazing.
MashaAllah. Rashida, did you want to say something?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like driving, so that's just going to be a lot of listening. But yes, it's just the elegance. Like it just, like, I liked how, that people are recognizing, yes, everyone's like, oh my goodness, I loved, people just stopping me saying this was just such a beautiful conference. Thank you for the conference. Um, I, I did like as far as just how the whole like how it was just so pretty, like it just everything just looks so pretty. And I have to say, oh, so much, much a shout out as far as to, the decor and all that kind of stuff. Like it just, yeah, it just really looked like a top scale, like, yes, this was like our 10th year doing it.
Alhamdulillah. Speaking of elegance,
Alhamdulillah.
listen, I love,
Oh,
I'm gonna let
can I say
Halima
a few
speak.
words? I'm sorry.
Yes, Halima, go
Can I
ahead.
say a few words? I'm multitasking because I'm working right now.
Oh,
But and I gotta say, you all are quite blessed. Anybody who was able to take a break, that's a blessing. In general, to ever be able to take a break is an absolute blessing. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so what I'll say is what matters when you're creating an experience is everything. So the venue matters just as much as the speakers, which matters just as much as the decor, which matters just as much as how we engage with the community, which matters just as much about who you know and who cares about your vision and your intentions and the services that you're bringing. Like it all matters so much. So I would say this was an absolute investment, not just in the AFIA project, but in our community. And I'll say with any investment, you have to be patient. I know how hard people worked and how long people waited just to have a space like the Turkish Community Center. And I'm saying that with all of the background context of the entire Dar es Salaam community, because that's what everybody from MCC, meaning Montgomery County, PG County, Virginia, this is what everyone wanted, right? A space for the Muslims to do all the things in one location. And alhamdulillah, we are able to build in a space that already exists, right? Because we had so many roadblocks, so many issues just to create a space like that. But alhamdulillah, it was already in the works in another location. And that's what is now the Turkish Community Center. And that to me means the world, because in any other location, this would have felt different, right? And I mean, even if we tried to have it in a space in Baltimore, this would have looked different,
mm,
right? So I do appreciate all of the knowledge from the Rahma Foundation, but we, of course, wanted to cultivate something for us.
yeah.
What worked well for them wasn't going to automatically equal what would work well for us, right? We have to really tune into what the sisters, what the Muslim women, mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts need here. And I think we did a great job. Whether it's our first time or not, I think we did a really great job. So Bravo. Bravo. Alhamdulillah. I think you guys did a really good job. Alhamdulillah.
Thank
Alhamdulillah.
you. Thank you so much for that. Anyone else? Listen, I don't know how to get to this heart thing fast enough. It's annoying me.
I do
'Cause I
want to
would
ask.
have-
I want to ask a question of between you, Fausia, and Deborah. Now that you had that, how did I mean? Yes, you're going to be biased. It was your baby, but what how did you feel the atmosphere and the vibe of it, because compared to what you experienced in SoCal?
You
it's not
can't
here.
compare.
No. And again, not even just because we did this and we're so tied to it, it was not. And there's also something different about Black sisterhood. I just have to put that out there because our audience was majority Black. It's a different kind of vibe for me anyway. And seeing some of the elders in the community, like the elders, the Black women, I could see it in them. I could sense it in them. Like, wow, they appreciated having this kind of space, like Halima has said. And this is some of them are women I've known for many years in the community. The joy. It wasn't, it's not, I can't compare it to Southern California. I can't. Um, and I don't want to say it was bland, but it was basic. If I'm making sense. It was like it was just round. It was not, it was just round tables and you sat around. Even though ours was like auditorium style, which for me doesn't always, bring out that sense of connection. We were able to, I was able to still feel it, especially in the hallways, in the atrium rather. And I know y'all were walking around more. I only made it through the atrium. I barely made it to the vending space. But when I did venture there, it was different. I didn't feel that in California.
It's like Ustada Aisha Prime said. I hope we have a recording of it. She said, I'm home. And
Mm,
I'm home.
oh my
Alhamdulillah.
God. Yeah. So yes,
I,
biased and all, but
Halima, I agree with your sentiment that this was really a wonderful experience to have the entirety of this conference on a Muslim-owned facility, like Muslim-owned facilities, you know, in so many ways. In so many ways. I kept thinking that and I expressed that to at least a couple of people. I love that feeling.
yeah.
Like I can't even put it into words, that we don't have to, you know, try to, sneak or find some corner to pray salah, that we just all walk over to the masjid and make all of our, salah. That
Yeah.
we are amongst sisters who cover and we don't have to make any excuses or explain any of that. It was just that part of it for me, I loved. I don't know about anybody else, but I love that.
Y'all tapping into other things that's on the agenda, but I have to say another difference between this and California was there was no like Salah together, right? And I don't know, Deborah, if you were making Salah, but I had to go
So
find with everyone else a corner like by an exit door to make my Salah. I don't think it was even written into the agenda. You were
It
kind of
was
on your own.
we officially broke, we
You
officially,
did? Okay. Okay.
I haven't gotten into my, I haven't answered Dr. Rashida's question other than my one line. We did officially break for Salah, but I do remember that I prayed with the other travelers being from San Diego. So we did find a corner. I'm not sure that there was actually, which was a little bit odd, maybe because we were taking up that space where they normally would have prayed, but we didn't, I don't know that we prayed as a group,
Oh,
I don't
they
think that
didn't.
happened. So that was definitely different. We all broke for Salah at the same time, but then it was kind of like find a place. I can say that.
I know that you're so right. And Halima, yes, it was everything. It was like the dying, we have to give it to us as much as kind of the back and forth. That space is it's a to not only a musalla but a beautiful musalla to walk to walk across and just to make salat with the imam, as they're calling the adhan. That whole yes, that whole yes, it was that was it. That was it. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It was just content and peaceful. And that's the words that I would say, as far as like what that day was. Well, I don't know how I can say that peaceful, I was running around, but I'm saying if I could, the experience of it, as far as like the atmosphere.
Yeah. Mashallah.
So, if I'm to answer Dr. Rashida's question, I would say from the very onset and beginning, I think Dr. Fauzia and I's vision was still very different from what we experienced in SoCal because it was in the DMV, it was in PG County. Like it was very different from the very beginning. And I thought, to me, even the idea of day two, the wellness day, already, and I think I said it in some of our meetings, already shot SoCal out of the park before we even did it, to me, because that's what we didn't have. We didn't have those we didn't put into practice the things that, we were learning. Um, as much as they even tried to incorporate some things because that was done when we were in California, but it just wasn't the same extent. Um, and then just secondly, like everyone else is saying, just being able to experience, I don't know, I think this for me, the sisterhood of the community coming together. I think one thing that was super different here at our conference was even though they were volunteers, we really did get the age range from the young to the elderly. I think SoCal fell a lot in between more so my age range and like you all's age range, Dr. Fauzi. Like it didn't include the elderly woman, the more elderly woman. And I don't think that was intentional in any way, but we did get that. We did get that with our conference. And one thing that I enjoyed about that was that those women were genuinely happy. I mean, I know this specifically the three sisters, the elderly sisters that came. They were so happy, and I got to talk to them for a quick second before they actually left and drove back to New York. And they were just happy for that because I think for us, this is not only something that was like missing in the DMV area, but I would argue for part of the East Coast, a section of the East Coast is missing. And so people were able to do it. And not to say you don't have the nice, beautiful messages and events and programs going on, but this in particular, this type of conference that is focused on, the things that a lot of women do care about. And I think that sisterhood was very important, which also just separates our conference from that conference is that really joint community because in California people were coming from different areas of California, so it was pretty scattered in that way, but then there was also clusters, groups that like bought their tickets together. So
Thanks for that. Ooh, anything else to add? What went well? What y'all enjoyed about this?
I agree. The second day, and I'm so happy that you all like stood your ground and were firm. Like, no, this needs to be a health and wellness conference, and we're not doing one day, we're doing 2 days. I thought it was wonderful. It was just wonderful from, what I saw. Um, and so many of the sisters, especially the younger ones, walked up to me um, during the second day while I was vending because they recognized my berry hijab, and so you're aware of that, Fauzia, that they were expressing their sentiments to me, and they were just like, "This is just so nice." Like they were at a loss for words. They were like, "This is so nice. I didn't expect this. It's beautiful, mashallah." They just thought it was wonderful, and I did too. I mean, kudos to you all. I can't take credit for, the many, 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 many hours and days and weeks that you all poured into this. Um, I'm over here with my life here in the Carolinas and trying to get a foothold. But it was wonderfully planned. It was beautiful to the eye. It smelled good. It was just so much of the senses, I think were heightened during the conference. It was wonderful.
Alhamdulillah. Can I just say that our uniform was the bomb? I was
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Alhamdulillah. Yes, it was.
like, oh, look at the berry hijab. Like, and it was a nice selection. So mashallah to y'all. Y'all they got the eyes for the colors and all, because y'all know I would have messed up the color. So I appreciate that. Okay, alhamdulillah. So let's does anyone have anything else to add? Because I'm about to move on. I don't want to.
I have one more thing to add, just a slightly different perspective. So on day two, I had relatives join and participate who are not Muslim. And just to reiterate some of the things that the other sisters have said, Sister Sharima pretty much just said it. A lot of the responses were beyond words, but you could see it in their face. You could see it in their body language. You could hear it in the tone of their voice, how overjoyed and impressed and happy and peaceful they felt in the space that we cultivated, right? But that also touched the hearts of my non-Muslim relatives. And I ended up, so the first one, my cousin had never been to that space before, and she was coordinating with Dr. Rashida. And so her overall intention was to find Dr. Rashida. But let me tell you, when she walked in our space, she forgot about Sister Rashida. She was just looking around. She was like, "Ooh, she was like, maybe I cannot stay. What can I move around? How can I stay here? How can I participate more? What, how can I
Wow.
stay?" Because she could see, okay, there's a wellness chat happening here. There's some vendors. See, she shopped. There's some vendors. She didn't know what to expect at all. But once she got in that space,
Hmm.
she could tell it was a space of health and wellness, a space she needed to be in, alhamdulillah. And then my sister came and I ended up having to leave. Forgive me, I'm so sorry. I left y'all. I had to leave. But
Then
I shared with my sister why I was leaving, and it would normally kind of like shake her up a bit, but she was like, "Oh, I just had my massage." She was walking on cloud nine. She just she nothing could, change her level of contentment. She had just walked over and had her 30-minute massage. She said, "I'm about to sit down for my henna. I hope you work that out." And she she Mashallah. So no, guys did a great job cultivating that space. Alhamdulillah.
Sadiq. That's good to hear. Thanks for sharing. I can appreciate that. All right. Bismillah. Let's move on down the list. Areas for improvement. So I'm thinking, let me read out all these and then we'll talk about them generally and also individually. So begin plan. Yeah, we need to begin planning 1 year ahead. But y'all know how that happened. We had it in mind we wanted to do a conference a year ahead, but we could not plan until like 2 months to the date. So that's a big difference. We need to strengthen committee structure and clearly define responsibilities of committee members. Yes, we need to do that. Improve venue layout, signage, and overall logistics. Absolutely. We need better management of vendors and provider needs. Yes. And I separate the vendors from the service providers. Like service providers are like those doing the massage therapy, hijama, and all that good stuff. Um, so better management of those two entities, improve visitor flow and guest experience. We need stricter access. The men, inshallah, Halima, when you get a chance to, and maybe Camilla as well, and actually all of y'all, we need to set up a meeting to have a debrief of sorts with DCA. Because I know down the agenda, there's buzz about possibly looking at other venues. I personally want to stick with DNet Center, and I do want to help them grow through this because they have potential to really do better. So anyway, that aside, I think we definitely need to have a debrief moment with them as well. So keep that in mind. And we'll touch on issues like when we say it's a women's event, we don't want men lurking around. Find us women who can work whatever it is that needs to be looked at and stuff. So anyway, so areas for improvement. Any particular any particular one folks want to hone in on? I think for me, the begin planning a year ahead. I'm already planning. I already got the dates that I'm going to propose to you all. I already have a sense of like what the theme is going to be, but that's still open for discussion. I already have a sense of people that I want to bring back or people I want to approach and see if they're available and stuff like that. One thing that one of the interns during the volunteer debrief said was come up with a date and start sharing it with our partners. So there's no other big event that's occurring around that time. So if we already have our date together and we share it with them, kind of like what I guess the Halakha things did with us. This is more of the board members. A few of the board members were able to meet with them like in the middle of us planning all this, and they were giving us their dates or potential ideas for potential programs that they want to do next year. We need to get in the habit of doing that as well. I know we've not done the strategic planning meeting, but that we need to put fire under our feet to do that for this conference, but other things as well. Um,
But I
trying
guess my question, I'm sorry, but my question is that those dates is because we wanted those speakers. So how will you in the future get around that? Like if your speaker says, no, I can only do
if
it
they
this
have
time.
a
And then,
year, if they have a year in advance notice, we're already on their books. We'll be the ones on their books.
okay.
you know, unless it's highly unlikely that they have things already set for October. So I feel confident if we give them even 6 months notice, they will be able to get on their schedule. And then that way they can and then they've seen like the ones if it's someone we're intending to invite back, they've seen how this went. So they would want to, inshallah, come back and make sure that they have things um planned around it. Another thing that was suggested is not only do we get our date solidified with them, we can also help them plan additional activities outside of our stuff. If Dr. Rania, if we're inviting her back, if Sheikh Aisha Prime, if she wants to do another thing with Adam Center or this MCC or any other organization, we can also get into cost sharing with them. So if they want her to speak on around that time, like the same weekend or whatever, well, we can talk about like, can they pay like a percentage of her flight, for example, to help us with at the very least the cost for flight. So those are things that would actually end up being to our advantage. If that does that make sense to you, Rashida? I know you can't talk, but I'll imagine you
It
shaking your head.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
One thing I'll add is, well, Friday was our saving grace, right? To be able to have that much time to set up in that space was needed. We could not have done that the morning of.
Oh, absolutely not.
No. So, and even we cut ourselves short being able to clean up that space. They gave us some grace saying we didn't have to put things back where they were. But then the struggle to
Get out.
pull strength from somewhere to be able to not just get out, but then put stuff in a new space.
Yeah.
We needed some more hands on deck.
Listen, I think we need to hire help.
Yeah, yes,
We
yeah,
that was just too much. Waking up the next day was too. I don't know if y'all saw. I was dragging that next
yeah,
day, and I think just about everybody else was as well. It was a lot.
yes,
It was a lot. Definitely, we didn't know it would be. We knew, but we didn't know. Put it that way. I've never done something of this caliber before in my life, So I had no clue, no real idea. I think, inshallah, a lot of our spending went towards like things that we need to just get in order to put things in place, like the banners of this and that. So hopefully those are costs that we would not have to, you know, incur again in the next year. That money can be used towards help. If we're going to be looking for people who have businesses that they can help us hire hired help to, move this and do this and all that stuff. Because yeah, that all that movement really showed my age. It reminded me of my age. I had a massage therapist
Yeah,
like
there are companies who have decor and they set up the decor and then they come and they take it down. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I think that obviously having we met, and I know that we spoke about this before. I spoke about this to a number of people, Sister Halima, Dr. Fozia, like we tried to recruit brother volunteers, but it all fell through. So I think obviously hired help would be ideal, but another option would just be to start looking for volunteers earlier and really trying to solidify those because I think because due to the short turnaround time, I feel like no one was really able to commit. And it was just really difficult for us to coordinate with different people. I think that if we're able to ahead of time reach out to our partners and express that we need brothers to participate and to help us with setting up and breaking down, we won't have to do so much of it on our own. And I think that could have been possible had we had more time.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Yeah,
I
alhamdulillah, we
like
have to
I like
appreciate the
to
difference that Allah made. I'm just going to say this really quickly, so sorry. We have to appreciate the differences that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put between us because Sister Camilla and I were struggling with something, the two of us together. And then there was a brother and he just did it with one hand. And we cannot, we cannot. And he did it fast. We have to appreciate that they are just
I
made different.
know we're just
Alhamdulillah.
different. So the issue of
Yeah.
volunteers, I'm going to share with y'all. We've been doing this for 5 years. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not all that stunned or shocked that volunteers didn't show up. We've gone through this many times. I'll have you speak. Just let me finish this thought real quick, Deborah. I did reach out to our partners, believe it or not. Um, And this is what happens. No one commits. Sometimes people will show up on the day of and help, but we need more than you just showing up on the day of because then we would be able to better assign, like, this is what we need you to do and all that stuff. It's just the nature, unfortunately, it's the nature of volunteers. That's what my experience has been. Um, which is why I always say I want to tie them down with something that's going to make them, kind of what's the word? I forget the word I use. Kind of like when we had volunteers from UMBC, they had to report back to the Travis
Obligated.
Center. Say it again.
Obligated.
Some kind of obligation or something of sorts. Thank you. They had to report back, and I also had to do assessments of their ethics and how they doing what they're supposed to do as interns and stuff and volunteers and stuff like that. Outside of that, when there's nothing tying them to any, they can show up like it's happened many times. People just don't show up on the day of an event. On the day of an event. That's what my children were always my built-in volunteers. With this set of volunteers, that's another reason why I really wanted them to pay that $50. Not necessarily because we needed that $50 from them, but because when you pay for something, there's value to it, and it's a reason. And I even we asked them yesterday when we did the debrief, and they said yes, it was useful for them to pay that money. So outside of that, when we're just say, oh, we're gonna send that, yeah, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I'm not always surprised when they don't show up because that's just the nature of humans,
But it,
unfortunately.
there has to be a buy-in. What's in it
Yeah,
for me,
some sort
unfortunately.
of buying. Yeah. Go ahead, Deborah.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say, just speaking to Camilla's point there, was something that you mentioned a while back. I don't remember if it was for, I think it was really for community field day, but this should apply to everything we're doing. We need to like really work on networking with brother organizations so we can get whole organizations that are going to kind of commit or set that time aside to help us, because trying to find individuals actually makes it very tough. And we do end up getting disappointed. It just happens. No fault to those brothers or anything like that, but if we actually have it already, like if we have those
The built-in
organizations already
relationship.
aware. Yeah, if we have that relationship and they're already aware, then it's kind of like on their plate too. And then, I don't know, maybe they look forward to it because they know that that's also the weekend that the women get to be away. So we should really shoot for that as well,
Yeah,
moving forward, especially with the year in advance that we have.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think that I know that we spoke to so many people, so many different organizations this year leading up to the conference, but obviously those are all like new partnerships and connections. So we haven't really solidified like deep and strong relationships with a lot of these organizations. So I'm hoping over the next year we'll be able to do
Sure.
so with at least a few of them and really get them to invest and commit to the work that we're doing and show up. Like Deborah said, I mean, whether those are brother organizations or organizations that have lots of brothers involved in them. I know that PGMA was one that I can think of, but we weren't able to meet with them again before the conference. There was just too much going on, so we couldn't really get them to commit to it. As well as like I know the MSAs, it just felt like everything was so rushed. So it was difficult for them to maybe like it was their first introduction to us. So maybe they just weren't invested yet, or they didn't quite understand the work that we're doing, even though we did like provide a presentation. I think it takes people that are invested in our work, that have been involved in it, that see us as like true partners and we have deep relationships with.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. PGMA knows who we are. Darius and I know who we
Definitely do.
are.
They definitely do, but
We've met with them multiple times. I'm just,
we have, but I don't know, maybe that's not enough. Like maybe we need to actually partner with them on something. Maybe we need to be like actually on the ground with them in communities versus just like knowing them. And I think it's different when both organizations have invested in each other versus you just knowing of each other. Um,
you also, okay, Sister Fatima, I do want you to go, but I'm gonna say this in terms of the two organizations I mentioned, because we have done in the past, we've made a ton of efforts to
mm,
meet with them, to introduce ourselves to them, to ask them for help.
mm,
Honestly, the kind of response we're getting from DCA
mhm.
is amazing. That's what I was expecting from those two particular entities, which we did not get.
Right.
And it made me just kind of go, we got to move on. We're going to move on and do what you go where you're welcome. But that's a whole other um discussion, I think, in terms of the way I see things. But there's been I mean, field day. I knew I couldn't do a community field day by ourselves. There's a whole bunch of women doing this. We've gone to them year after year. Can you please, partner with us
Mm,
for the Fall Family Fun 3K, the Thanksgiving weekend thing? Crickets,
yeah.
crickets. So after a while, you kind of feel like I would meet with them if you set up a meeting with them, but I know what my
Maybe I
experience is.
maybe they don't maybe they haven't seen us as like a serious organization. Like, because honestly, I feel like with these more established, I'm sorry to say it, but it is true with a lot of these more established organizations in Masajid. If
Yeah,
you're,
they think we're here for a short term and we're gonna fizzle away.
yeah,
I
or
get
they
that.
think that we have enough, like, we haven't really like made a name for ourselves, which is sad, even though like we are like
small and we're a newer organization, it doesn't mean that we're not making a difference. But I think that a lot of them, I hope that this conference proves, like as our debut event, that we are to be taken seriously and we're doing important work, and people see that, because I do think sometimes when you're smaller, they don't take you seriously and they're just like, oh, whatever, you know?
This is unfortunate, but my thing is I go where I'm welcomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole
Right.
sometimes. I mean, and I don't know who exactly you worked with, but I have a good idea of who it was, and some of the I'm familiar with some of the folks, and they have strong opinions about things that women should and shouldn't do. I think I mentioned some in another meeting.
Yeah, like
Yes, ma'am.
That I think that plays a role in it
Yes,
a lot.
ma'am.
that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Yes, ma'am. So, anyone who feels like
Did
I
like
should
a
stay in my lane, what's my hijab doing? Sorry. Um,
They did like our recap video. I did see that. Hold up.
okay,
Alhamdulillah.
that's nice.
So they definitely saw it. I'll say that.
Camila, listen, this is from day one. Before we even knew it, they know me. They
Of
know
course they do.
me.
Of course
So it's not like we're strangers.
No, we're not. But it's it's almost like when you do to them important enough and big enough work, that's when they see like, oh, like they're actually doing like, as sad as that sounds, like they start to value you as an
So
organization.
piece of the pie. That's what when they
Yeah,
say it's a piece of the
they're
pie
like,
is
okay,
value.
I see you. And I feel like unless you're at like a certain caliber, unfortunately, they don't view they don't view most organizations in that way if they're not on their same level, which is
Okay, Allah will elevate us, and we would not need to go begging. I've come to that conclusion. That's why I'm sticking with DCA. They're like DCA is asking us, coming to us with this. Why not? But anyway, the issue of volunteers is definitely something we'll keep exploring. I'm not saying I'm not going to approach them. Like I said, I'll meet with them. I just know what my experience is with them. Sister Fatima, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, and then Halima Thomas.
No, no worries. So you guys probably aren't gonna like this, but I'm one of the people who is like, we need to have this at a different venue. And one of the reasons is because like if you had it at a hotel that has like a conference center or the space or a conference center itself, they have employees that are going to move the different things for us, and we don't have to kind of worry about those things. Um, and I think and that's one reason why I would just suggest if the venue was moved to a different thing, unless there were people that DCA had people that would help us move things and set up and do those kind of things. Because I don't think that people are always interested in volunteering. People in general, even some of the volunteers that we had, I think that we had a total. Well, we had like 30 some odd people. It seemed like they were interested. And then when it comes down to it, we had 12 women. And then when it came down, like even yesterday, just at the recap meeting, 5.
Mm.
Those were the 5 women, and I can name them that that were there consistently, that were you know what I mean? They just were there consistently. They offered great feedback. You know what I mean? They were insightful. And I would definitely want to work with them again and things like that. But I don't think that people in general want to volunteer and if they do, is because they just want to be at the event. Even some of our volunteers that were there, they were like some of them they enjoy. I didn't really even get to enjoy the conference because I was working the majority of the time, but some of them like literally just like I would see, I think you're volunteering, but I see you coming out of the auditorium with smiles and things. I'm like, wow, what was that like, like, so you know what I mean, just things like that where the other ones were like really working. People were, like we said, we need to have a check-in and check-out for the volunteers. There were probably about 5 or 6 that we knew where they were. Others, they just left when they left, and things like that. So that's my thought in regards to the volunteer. I know someone said maybe they were too young. I really don't, because the 18, 19-year-olds were the core part of the core five. The youngest ones we had there were like part of that core, 5 or 6 that were there consistently. So
Yeah.
that's just my 2 cents.
Thanks, Sister Fatima. We'll talk about the venue shift or not shift later, inshallah. So, Halima Thomas, and I know you put stuff, I'll read what you said in the comment and then you can add what you want to say. I really appreciate how we were able to hear from female experts and scholars, especially when we typically always have to hear from men. I love how we were able to highlight the expertise among Muslim women across so many different fields. Absolutely, yes. Thank you. So go ahead. What else did you want to say?
Yeah, honestly, as Sister Fatima was talking, I thought of something, and I'm gonna say that first so that I don't forget. I would say something that was on the second day, being kind of underground, I think that caused quite a few issues. I know some of the vendors were having some problems like accepting payments, and then like we had even issues just contacting one another because when I had first gotten there in the morning, I asked in the chat where everyone was, and Sister Fatima replied, but I did not get her message until like 2 hours later. So like it just made communication and just like just little things that we needed to like I guess quickly talk to each other about. Like even just phone calls. I know Amna tried to call me like a few times and it just would not go through. And she was trying to handle the service providers. So I don't know. And the Wi-Fi only extended to a certain area. Like I think once you got into that hallway, right, the entrance by the garage, it was just a no-go. So I think yeah, that's just something to put out there. And then something else that occurred to me when you guys were talking about like just potential partners. I know ISB is quite far for some people, but I know they did recently launch, well, not that recently, like a year ago, like a sisters group. So that would be like another opportunity to um, partner with another masjid.
If
And
you
I
know
know
someone,
they're typically.
Halima,
Hmm?
Halima, really quickly, if you know someone from there, you can help us set up a meeting.
Okay.
You can make the connection where we introduce ourselves to them. And sometimes it takes that personal touch, having some,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't think I know anyone specifically from like ISB Sisters, but I know my dad knows the president of ISB or someone affiliated with him. So, I mean, he could maybe help make that connection as well. I'll
Ella
ask.
says she knows someone. Okay. So we can
Yeah.
set that up. Like you said, distance is an issue, but definitely, especially if we're planning this far ahead, I'm sure that those who are interested in really volunteering and being in the community would. And actually, Amira, you and I know Ustada Fadwa's sister-in-law.
Yeah, Fatima Jabbar, and
Yeah, we can, and then she's quite big. She was so happy to
she's
be there.
very
She's quite
connected.
big. Yeah, so okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Absolutely. Amna, go ahead.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I just want to share one thing. This is something that one of the service providers had shared with me. So she was speaking about how she can offer like classes for acupuncture for next year, and then she can do like community acupuncture. And she said that she would do that if we like waived her like tabling fee. And people don't have to get undressed, and she can do 20 people at a time, and like there's like themes that she can do and things like that. I just want to share that.
No, that's good to know. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. And one more thing, sorry, and then Halima Davenport, you go. I totally agree with the connection. Their Wi-Fi is horrible. Even when you have access to it, it's not, it's not good at all. So inshallah, Deborah, if you can note that as something we really need to talk to them, DCA, when we have a debrief with them. So men lurking around and Wi-Fi situation. Um, Go ahead, Sister Halima Davenport.
Sure. Yeah, I'm positive that I mentioned the Wi-Fi in many meetings as something we would have to address because it's a known thing. It's always been a thing. So I'm surprised that it was a surprise to
Not that it
anyone.
was a surprise. I think it just clicked to me that it would be a problem with vendors being able to take payment. I know
Yes,
it's
I
an issue.
explained all of that. So
Yeah, I didn't connect that.
it's going to be an issue with how we communicate with each other. It's going to be if unless you address it, unless you make sure everyone has the what, everyone's aware and anyway. So what I want to say is yes, alhamdulillah, volunteers are good, but what's really going to make the difference is having paid professionals to do the heavy lifting. And that's where that free but or available budget will come in handy
Mhm.
since we've used it on materials that's one-time purchase only. I think that should be a completely separate conversation. Um, Relative to establishing new relationships with other organizations for volunteers. Yes, we do need more volunteers, but in terms of the heavy lifting, that should be someone who is paid and someone who's a professional, who knows what they're doing, knows how to do it, and will do it. And regardless of what venue you rent or pay for, you still will have to have a company come in and do the heavy lifting for the decorating. That is the biggest piece. Bringing in all the boxes, bringing all the decor is something we should have someone who is paid to do.
I
There should be
agree.
a separate conversation than the volunteers.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And there's more accountability when it's paid because then you can say, we are paying you for this. We need you to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and they know they do it. This is what they do for a
Yeah,
living. They do it. So,
right.
yeah.
Camila, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I had to recruit my husband to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and alhamdulillah, he was available. But I know that even for him, it was a lot, like just being doing it on his own. I did reach out to Sister Feliz on a number of occasions throughout the weekend, asking her if there was someone from DCA that could assist us that they had employed to help us do things like new furniture. I think there was one time when she was able to get, I can't remember his name. There was a brother that worked on Saturday that I think is like her assistant that helped. I think he helped you guys with like some of the IT issues. He was able to move, I think, one of the couches with the help of brother Yilmaz. But then, other than that, when it came to obviously moving the furniture and some of the items from the cultural center over to the um, the sports center, it was really, I think, difficult, and there was so much going on in the morning, and like the only person that was available to me was my husband, so I was like, can you just please like get the couch and everything, and he had to like run over and try to figure it out and do it himself. But yeah, I guess I think with in terms of the communication and the expectations that we have with DCA when we're renting their space, I think that this is something that we should bring up in our meeting with them is um, why wasn't there like regular staff available to us to assist? Because even though we are renting the space, there should be people on standby to assist us with things that are needed. Uh,
Uh, I'm sorry to interject, Camilla, but I don't think it's reasonable for us to expect DCA to do that for us because you have to understand that like the day that, the sister, there was a wedding, there's other things. So they're not thinking about us. We got the space, we paid for it. I agree with Sister Halima. We're gonna have to find hired help if we want to really cover our bases because DCA is also thinking about managing their own business as people are utilizing their space. And so they just don't have the manpower. And I don't think we can reasonably expect them to have sufficient bodies on staff because we don't control their staff and we're
of
not paying their staff. So
paying
that's going to be
typically
difficult.
typically when you rent venues, there are appointed people that are able to move things over.
But this is a mosque.
I know, but it's
That's a difference.
still a venue too, because they're renting the space out and we pay thousands of dollars. We should at least have one consistent person that we can go to and be like, can you help us with this? And I feel like that wasn't, and I get
Because
they have other things going on with the nikahs, but they were able to attend to that. They should also have someone to, if they have two events on the same day, then they should have people that are able to attend to the nikah party as well as us, because we're also just as important. I just feel like, and I think that was back to what Sister Fatima said about renting a conference center, because there would be people that would be available. And I think that obviously goes back to the type.
Yeah.
I
And
see both of your
and-
points,
yeah,
Amira. I see your point, Amira, and yours too, Camila. I think that at the very least, they, with each event that they have scheduled on each day, there should be someone appointed, like to each one. There was a moment where I'm guessing the brother Ali, I think is his name. Um, I'm guessing he's running between the different events, or I don't know where he is, but we had tables at one point, but not enough chairs. And one of the vendors didn't have chairs for them to sit down and do their health checks.
yeah.
And it was just a lot trying to find someone, because this is a portion that we would not be able to control. Like the chairs were there, but they were all locked behind a door,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
having to find him to open it. And then he wanted to know specifically how many chairs I needed. Well, I didn't know how many we would need. We need the chairs, plural. Um, but they could definitely do a better job at being attentive the day of the event and having someone available to us.
right, and that, I like your point that there's an element to both of them, and as far as what Jamila was saying. What we've contracted them with, as far as the tables and the setting, that is within the contract. But I don't, if they probably did not, what was not in the contract was like the core and stuff like that. I feel that having that in the budget, I mean, it's kind of like, if we have social media people, we have this, the things you just budget for. That is an element of how much you've grown as an organization. Alhamdulillah, that you got to that point that that's what you need. You know, me and who we were like, me and Sharima were like going on with these. That could have been something that a moving company could have done, because that is, alhamdulillah, what we have grown to be for this level of conference. For something that's smaller, no, we wouldn't need it. But for this level, yes, and I think it is possible to budget for it. So both points are correct. What they were contracted for, that's what we should have. But as far as chairs, that we shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But with that extra for us, that yes, we have grown enough to have something on this large scale, that we'll probably have to hire help as well.
Mhm.
Alhamdulillah.
And and also I want to say to the point where about, they're a masjid, but they also are a business, and they're also like are an event venue as well. So I think in their that's two separate things. And so in regards to them being like an event venue, another thing that I didn't particularly care for is I thought that maybe the cultural center should have been it should have said maybe on the door private event, because we had like people from a wedding coming over enjoying our coffee and our juice and things like that, you know what I mean, just little things like that. But it was a private women's conference, and I would have loved to see it be more private, and not just like
Yeah.
other people just wandering in. We had a woman come in and was like, "Oh, is this the conference with Dr. Rania?" Yes, it is. Oh, yeah, I should have. Oh, I forgot about it. She said some other things. She had kids with her, but she left with a swag bag. So it's like I understand that they are a masjid and it's a
I
beautiful
didn't
place
forget a
and I
swag
enjoyed
bag.
that, but I don't know. I wondered, was she in the in in the auditorium? So you know what I mean?
She might have been. That was actually Sister Felice's like best friend, and so
Oh,
you have to keep in mind that like they even had Sunday school was going on. And I believe that
yeah,
sister came over because her kids were in Sunday school. She was waiting
yeah.
for her children in Sunday school. So that was my point, was that you're renting the space, but it's still
I'm
a
not,
community
yeah.
for it's a mosque, and they
I
have activities every single day. But the
no, I, I,
biggest
I,
point.
I
The
completely
biggest
understand that, and I
I'm not
think that's
quite done
wonderful
yet
and
though.
beautiful. But at the same point,
Yep,
you
I'm not quite done yet though. So the biggest thing
I
is
wasn't quite done either before you started talking, but what so I'm saying I understand what you're saying, but when do you separate the fact that it's the community in the masjid and then your event venues? That's all I'm saying. Is
I don't think you can separate it. I know. I don't think you can separate it.
oh,
So, but the biggest point is that the main person that manages rentals actually left abruptly 2 days before everything happened. And so usually there is a front person to be there, a person that's sort of there to answer your questions and do all. But that person, unfortunately, was no longer employed, and so the people that were there did an amazing job picking up the pieces and trying to figure out what on earth was going on because they didn't have access to anyone's contract. They didn't have access to anyone's details or plan, and they had to figure that out in 2 days. They had multiple events happening all at the same time, without having been a part of the negotiations for those events and the details of those events, including ours.
Yeah. So I think ultimately what we just need to keep in mind is even if DCA had offered us the help that we may have needed at an additional cost or as part of the contract, whatever, we need to stay prepared, knowing that maybe just going with our own people, someone that we hire and we know they're going to show up and be able to do it, will be there. Because, like y'all said, at any given time, multiple activities could be going on at DTA. And that just
But they're
means
not. Yeah, they're not going to stop having a janaza.
exactly
'Cause they
janaza,
need to
a
have a
wedding,
janaza.
all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff.
I think
Um,
I
sorry,
think those are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Mhm.
really quickly, I just want to say my preference would be for us to bring our own source of help because it's just so unpredictable what's going to be going on at that time. But if we know that we have dedicated folks who we've hired and that come, so let's start looking out for people, sisters run businesses and stuff, businesses where you can bring in help, people to help you move things from here to there. I honestly feel like that's our safest option to have that in mind that we're gonna have to bring our own people as opposed to trying to depend on someone else. And even if it were like a conference hall, like an official conference space, it would have been built into the cost. So it's just a cost that we need to be aware of and plan for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think those are two separate issues, like hiring people to move things after the event is over, so after day one or day two, and then also to set up. I think that's separate than having someone who is contracted by the venue to be a point person. So I
That
think
part went well. I mean, I don't understand
I
what.
don't think so. Like, I think, like Sister Halima said, I think they did the best that they could, but I do think I saw a lot of issues where it was like we needed someone and they were nowhere to be found. Whether that was Sister
Thank
Felice, I know that she had a. I'm not discrediting her effort, and I know everyone did the best that they could, but I do think that there were times we didn't know what to do. Sister Jamila mentioned like the chairs, or I remember there was another instance of the furniture that was like something like we didn't move the furniture that was the blue furniture that was in the auditorium until like 5 minutes before the program started, and that was like I had requested someone to do that since the night before.
you. Okay.
And
That
so
makes
things
sense.
like that, like on during the hours that we book the venue for, there should be someone available to us. Additionally, we should also hire someone to help us with cleanup, with setup and breakdown. So I
Yeah.
think those are two separate things. And then I also mentioned, I don't know who I think it was to Sister Fatima. I think it would be helpful for us to have a planner, like someone that actually understands and knows the rundown all of the days and can help direct people on what to do. Because I think with us, I think everyone was doing every we were all doing a little bit of everything, but there were some people that were more that took the lead on certain certain areas than others. Like Deborah and Sister Fatima, you guys were more working with the volunteers. I was doing like some of the decor things, but I think sometimes like people would come up to us and ask us questions that we didn't really know the answer to because we weren't really a part of like the team that coordinated that. I know food was a big thing. People were asking me a lot of food questions, and I was like, I don't know anything about the food. I wasn't a part of that conversation. And so having someone like a planner that knows everything and that people can sort of go to or that we can go
Not
to
even, not even necessarily a planner, but ensuring that
a day of
tasks,
coordinator or something like that.
yeah, ensuring that tasks were assigned and everyone has a task. Everyone should on that day should have had a like I remember at the last minute, like, oh my gosh, we don't even have people who are reading out the bios for the speakers at the breakout sessions. So I sent out that PDF like I think the day before or
Yeah.
something like that. So that definitely should not be what's happening.
Yeah.
I totally so
Someone that knows all the smaller details and can keep track of all of them so that we're not like, we don't, the day of, we're like focused on the larger things and focused on, um, making sure that the speakers are good and you were coordinating all with Ustadh Fedwa. And that was like, especially on day one, I know that you were spread thin. And I tried to ask you questions and you were super busy. And I knew that like I couldn't, I didn't want to bother you because you had a lot going on. And so, but then I didn't really know who to go to for certain things, or everyone was sort of just busy. So I think having one person that can coordinate the day of that we hire to do so would be really helpful. That coordinates all the teams, even maybe like the volunteers at a high level, knows like all of the vendors that we've contracted for things like decor, florals, and can sort of guide them and give them instruction on like where to set up and what to do. Even like the setup and breakdown crew, they're able to direct them. I think that would be really helpful as well.
yeah, mashallah. No, we definitely need to take that and work on that. Okay. Any more to add to this areas of improvement before we get into individual stuff? Any more things to add? No.
It's not an area to improvement. I just wanted to give a personal shout out. I don't know what the sister's name was, who was sitting at the desk from DCA from the atrium, who was like editing at the last minute, editing ID badges for us and printing and all this other kind of stuff. So that was something that went right, and I just wanted to give her a shout out, whatever. May Allah bless her, whatever.
Jaisal? Is
Well,
there
whoever her name was.
And
was that Jaisal?
There was a woman she was sitting at the desk
No,
across from me.
it wasn't Jaisal. Jaisal wasn't working that
Oh,
day.
okay.
2 days.
Yeah.
It was that other sister. I can't remember her name though.
Mashallah. No.
I would like to know what is meant by improved venue layout, signage, and overall logistics. I think it goes into the next one, but just to cover that.
Yes, I think so. Um, yeah, it goes into the other one for
Slash
signage and all that
improve
stuff.
visitor flow and visitor flow. I'm not too clear on that.
I think
So,
that was day 2. That did not apply to day 1.
Yeah,
well,
that would be
there's
more
there's a
so
portion of day one I think that could have applied to the colored stickers, the octagons that
Oh,
correlated which room or breakout session. I think maybe if we would have had signage and something as simple as a matching color icon so they can look at their look at their name tag and see the red octagon and go to the room with the red octagon, to know they're in the right space. Some kind of way to make that more clear because even though you did announce it a lot of times, and it was told to them what section, what room each breakout session and what was happening, there was still a lot of like wandering aimlessly, really quickly and back and forth trying to find which workshop to be in.
yeah, I think the issue with the breakout rooms, we did not want to assign it early enough. because we were, I don't know if you remember this conversation. We weren't sure like if people it would be kind of like lopsided with more people who want to attend this particular session and more this one. So we just named it like breakout room A, B, C, D. And that I think that's where the
Yeah, but
confusion.
not only that, our original plan actually was that sisters would sign up in advance. But I don't know. That's a process we're gonna have to really improve. I think it's a little bit of fatigue that happens when there's a lot of things to read and a lot of things to process and go through. I don't, the only thing that I think we could have did different the way we did it in that moment, which would have still added another step to registration, was have the sisters actually just have clipboards and have them sign up under the different ones. But even then, I don't think that's really efficient.
No, no, no. But remember what was supposed to, one of the things we mentioned, right? If we had a volunteer with the, let's say now the color, a volunteer with that color sign, everyone who is going to has this color, you come with me. And we were
Okay,
supposed
so
to have the
just
volunteer.
so you mean so we're more so talking about the flow of leaving the auditorium and going to the breakout.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
going into the
yes.
Okay,
breakout
okay.
session.
We
She's just
did have
saying
that,
like
but that did not go well. I
she's
agree.
saying
Because
like so
my
the
assumption,
library, right? The library, if the people on there who are going to the library had a pink sticker on their badge, there should have
mhm.
been a pink something on
Sticker
the
That
running the
wall
that's to
next to the
my
library.
point.
library.
You
That's
understand?
her point.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Halima. Like at that
Okay.
point when they registered, the stickers were being put on their name tag, so they had an idea of which room or which breakout session they wanted to go to. If there was something correlating, like Halima just said, which was the point I was making, if there was something they could visually see, because reading through all the schedule and doing all those things
It's
might be a
much.
lot
Yeah.
with all
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
visual stuff and all the things happening. They could quickly look up and see the pink circle. I'm supposed to be at the pink circle. I'm supposed
Okay.
to
So
be
that
at the
goes into
green.
think
signage.
one of the goals for the volunteers was to actually escort people to the room that they were supposed to go to. And I just don't think that happened.
It
That was
did
also
happen. It did happen because I actually assigned people. It did not flow well. The flow was not
Remember announcing this in the auditorium. Did I announce that it's time for breakout session?
No, you did announce it, but that's to the point. You announced it, and
not
people are
enough.
talking, then chatter. There's a lot happening. It's easy to miss a singular announcement, but if there's a sign, even if you
Yeah.
miss the volunteer that's going to escort
Yeah.
you, like the same as missing a bus. If you miss the to get with the group going to the pink
You're going.
session, you at least can say, "Oh, I got the pink sticker. Let me go to the room with the pink circle
Just a
out."
way of covering your bases. It could have been just a
Yeah.
pink piece of construction paper taped to the
Right. No,
Exactly.
door.
I envision like next year, inshallah, like having an actual sign that's the corresponding color where it says breakout room A and then the name of the place, or just breakout room executive what's that place? Meeting room or library or whatever. Hold it up and then people follow you. I think another thing that did not help was Halima, I don't know how much this affected you, but it did throw me off a lot the fact that the equipment was not working, it was not connecting to the computer. It was working fine at one point, then it just won't connect, and that hiccup because in the PowerPoint, the slides, I have those things embedded, like breakout sessions, this and that. You get what I'm saying? So it would have been another visual to put up there for folks to see where they're supposed to go to, but that didn't happen because
Yeah, I think, I mean, regardless of all of that, I think if we just had literally a pink piece of paper on the door, just as simple as that, as a
that's it.
second way. Yeah.
And also on probably the picture frame with the on the easel, we can actually slap something pink on it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, exactly. That's like three different levels. The first one was the volunteers to direct them to, like, hey, I'm going to this room, I'm following. I know there is just an element of this people just going to be confused when you're trying to move around because then they would have
Yes.
had to know, okay, I have to go to the second floor. And
second.
no, it was, because you had that like on the registration table, you had the colors with each of the rooms listed because I referred to it multiple times. But yeah, it's just like
So
all of those
that
different
And
I
that's
yeah,
a,
guess
a,
spell
a big
things.
part of the reason that is because most folks have never been into these spaces. So alhamdulillah, more people are now learning that these spaces exist
and they're going there more frequently, especially the people who most participants are here from here and hadn't explored the Dinette Center before or
Mhm.
spent much time. I know where everything is because I come there all the time. I'm there every week, but most people weren't. So, if you are a part of that community or if you're spending more time and you're actively participating in things that are there more, then you're going to know where everything is because you're there all the time. But most folks weren't.
Got it.
So, yeah, having other ways of covering our bases is just, I think we did a great job, but just need to add another visual to match up with the stickers. I think that's a good way to do it.
Okay. Something that we really failed on our part, and I expect this to show up in the feedback. The program was way too tiny. People couldn't see it, they couldn't read it, slowed down the line. It was too small. It was cute, too much on one
No,
page.
And
I had
people
some,
didn't
especially elderly folks tell us like,
Yeah,
I
they
can't read
couldn't,
that. I'm
and
sorry.
it gets people flustered because then they're considering their sisters behind them that want to also check in,
Yeah.
but then they're trying to pick out their breakout sessions, which is
Well,
why
maybe a regular size paper.
I don't like how we did the breakout sessions for sure. I don't like how we didn't plan to do it like that, but we definitely should not do it like that going forward. It
Well,
Are you,
what do
just
you mean? The
are you still
color?
talking about the small size or are you talking about something different, Deborah? What are you?
No, I was now talking about just the pricking the breakout sessions using the small paper as well, like just using that program.
Right.
It didn't really help because we didn't have it really posted so
You know
that
what? We
sisters could
should
read
have
it
we should have a big
big.
printout
Yes.
of the schedule. Just like we had there was one,
Poster size.
yeah, there was one
Mm.
size with the flyer. That size, right? Deborah,
Yeah.
I think we
Maybe
should have
even
it.
a little. The flyer was on the smaller canvas. I think we needed something
No, no,
of the
no. I'm
level
talking
of
about like the flyer. I don't, it's not in this house. There was a poster. You know how we had like those six giant
yes.
things that we put on the easel? There was a smaller one. That version is like a pretty good size. I don't know. I'm not,
No, that's what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
I
arguing you
think it
that
should be the size of, I know what you
I
were about
think
to say,
it.
Deborah. The
Yeah.
size of the ladies. It needed to be the size of the
oh,
Yes.
ladies.
even that size.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I won't return. I was gonna return some some frames, so I won't return that now. I'll just keep
We
it.
need those. We do need those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a keeper now. I'll just keep.
That would be something nice to have. Women's Health and Wellness Conference on the one side, and then on the second side of the door, you have breakout room B, and it has that pink. It's just bright pink or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just clear. I think
Got it.
that was a downer
It
for me.
would it would also be nice to have like a booklet and with the sponsors there's but the schedule in there for each day.
That was
Um
an issue of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
We
was
have
the
it
timing.
now.
There was just no way. Even for me, up the web page is not even fully updated. I was like, I can't. I just can't get. It's more a time issue to try to get all that together and then put it and be able to print it out. After a while, I said, we're gonna try our best. But yeah, that would have been great.
mhm.
That definitely is something we need to keep in mind for next time.
Yeah, what I told people is that look, it is on the website, so you can
It's not
enlarge
even
it.
updated on the website, y'all. I'm sorry.
Oh, the schedule wasn't.
Let me
Oh,
just be
okay.
quiet. Let me put
And
myself
people
out
were
like
trying
that.
to snatch our lovely printouts that Dr. Rashida got for us that we were using at
Yeah,
the
I
time.
wish, yeah.
They kept trying to take it. And it was like, oh no, not really.
So what I'm
So,
hearing now is have the schedule on a big, huge size
Yes, yes,
poster
that's what
thing.
makes
And
sense.
also
Yeah.
in their bags, we're gonna do regular size paper, print
Mhm.
out and leave it in there. It actually will cost us less money to do that. Okay.
Oh,
Please.
okay. It'll be less. Okay, for the bigger piece of paper.
Yeah, like it'll be regular paper. We don't have to pay extra for it. We can just print it out. All we have to buy is ink. Um,
Okay.
all right. Okay. Woo, child. Let's see. Logistics, venue, and signage. So signage. I'm glad we printed those thing, big, huge lady hijab lady. What should we call her? Y'all been calling her Afia.
Yeah, her
I've
name
been
is
calling her
Afia. Yeah,
Afia.
Afia.
The Afia size ones. I'm glad
Dr.
we did
Afia.
that. It was a little costly, but it's something we can use forever, inshallah. Um, I think I think the garage signage was okay. Did y'all hear anything about signage for that being problematic, people not knowing which doors you did? So, any insights on what folks were not finding helpful with that?
That one is just hard because, excuse me,
Hmm.
that one is just hard because if you don't know DCA, if you're not familiar with DCA, you just trying to go to the first door you see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Even
just not super
after,
clear. What we needed was signs. We did need a little bit of signing in the garage, like we first discussed, kind of like saying this way.
so Deborah, did you see the video that we put together saying this is
Yes,
what
we
your
have the
draft should look
video. Yes.
like? Okay, so how else can we make that? Because
Just day of, we have the video, and I did also get feedback that, hey, you guys did amazing. All the instructions were spot on. I'm just saying, I know people don't look and see everything because people assume stuff. People assume stuff. They like, I know where I'm going. Until then, until actually in the moment, then you realize, actually, no, I don't know where I'm going.
so maybe
And then I
additional
also
signage.
heard, sorry, I also had heard from Sister Angela from Soulful Muslims that it's confusing because they've changed the name of things. So people are under the impression that, oh, this is must be an area I don't know because it used to be called this. So those things, I think the easiest way to have mitigated that was just to have signs.
Sorry, what name was changed?
Sports complexes. She
Yeah,
said
I
it's
was I
called
Yeah.
was with you. I agree with it when
bathhouse.
she said that. It used to be the bathhouse. But
Bath.
they was like, what's the sports complex? They
Yeah,
weren't
that's
familiar.
true. Yeah, it used to be like the bathhouse, the hammam.
Yeah,
I
a couple
Oh,
remember.
people
honey,
thought we were
we're
having
so
it
far
at the
from the name.
PG. Couple
Yeah.
people thought we were having it at the PG Sports and Learning
Sports
Complex, and
complex.
I said no, we're having it right here. This was
Did
on
they
day
read the
one.
flyer?
I'm telling you, people, do you see there's like
People
a meme?
don't
Sometimes you can
read.
put all the information and people will still say, "What time is it? Where is it?" So,
Hmm.
the sister was there at day one and excited to come for day two, and she was just talking about how close PG Sports and Learning
Oh,
Complex was to her. I
hmm.
said, "No, don't show up there. It's
Oh,
here at the sports complex that is
Oh my goodness.
here." So I'm glad she said that because otherwise,
So she didn't look at the email, she didn't join the WhatsApp group, she didn't read the flyer. That's what that means.
right, right. So it's like so it was even a sister that was like, I needed this information and that information. I said, did you check the WhatsApp info? And she joined it in front of. I said, no, let's do it together. She joined it in front of me. She was like, oh wow, this answers all my questions. I said, see, there you, Alhamdulillah, and she had everything
Yeah.
ready.
I actually had a couple older sisters say that to me. They were like, we didn't know where the entrance to the sports center was. I was like, did you read the email? And she
Hmm.
was like, oh no, I didn't see it. And I was like, did you join the WhatsApp group? She was like, no. And I was like, we put all the information in there. And she's like, okay, I guess that's my fault then. Cause like I was
okay. We just
I
have
feel like
to,
we did everything we could.
yeah, we just have to anticipate that folks won't read directions and folks won't do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, but like how is that like I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else we can do is my point. It's like if
No,
you're
the
registered
final,
for that
yes, the final like
con-
defense is to be there. All of
Mhm.
what I did here, all those people who had those crazy concerns, someone was there to help them. That's
Yeah.
your final form. You're not going to get an 80-year-old to use, WhatsApp
WhatsApp,
and
yeah,
and YouTube, and she's not going to do that. But I'm
Yeah.
going to try to be as many places as I can be to help those people who are still
Thank
confused.
you. Yeah, that's
yeah,
important. I
Yeah.
think another thing that could have helped with the WhatsApp group, and I'm just thinking about it now, it would have been nice to have the QR code on a huge banner and tell folks, at the
join
registration
now.
table,
That would have
please,
been
you
helpful.
know,
Yeah.
and,
Or
Did
and
we
it would be
not
nice
have
also
that?
to assign someone, hold on, just let me finish this thought real quick, to assign someone to send the information on that WhatsApp. I was the one doing it primarily, basically because I needed to get out what was in my head and convey it because not sometimes it's not even stuff that y'all knew was going on. But it would be nice for that responsibility to fall on someone other than me who would be able to know what's going on and be able to send, updates every now and then.
Yeah, I think also I know Sister Halima went over housekeeping during the during day one. I feel like having the QR code like on the screen would have been helpful as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
absolutely.
was
I
the
agree.
QR code that was on the high top tables? What was that QR code?
On the where?
The high tables in the atrium.
There
The
was
That's for our
two of them.
website.
That was to the website. Okay.
There
That's
was
not
two
the
of them.
page.
There was one to the website and there was one to give, was it Give
Anissa.
Butter or Launch Good?
was it Ansar Nisa or was it the conference gift?
Give Butter and Saranisa
The
Okay.
website,
conference.
the conference webpage. You talking about the table tents, right? Halima Davenport.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's to the web page.
Okay.
And then the one Deborah's talking about, like, is the and Sarah and Nisa for those who encouraging folks to donate to the.
So they look the same, right? They were both
No, they're not. They're different.
Oh, which ones were the Ansar Nisa ones? What do those look like?
Her hijab is different. Let me show you
It's
what
brown.
It's okay, okay, I do remember that.
Yeah, there's no hijab on the first one. It was just the Afia Project logo on the first one, and then you have the one on the table tent, and then you have the Ansar Nisa one. Again, overload. I will say that.
Different ones.
So we had to keep redirecting for different, yeah. But that wasn't really a kill. That wasn't a kill, too much of a kill on that part.
Been helpful to put like right under the QR code, like website and then donate. Ansar, you know what I mean? Just so people like they know which one they're scanning.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying to.
No,
They were
I
like,
didn't think they were like side by side ever enough for it to be an issue.
yeah,
I
but we
didn't
didn't
think, but I don't know.
knew what the Q. I didn't know what the QR codes were for.
Yeah, I didn't know what the QR code was for.
I
I thought it was for like up to date.
I thought it was for the registration, like because I know we said we were still taking people to register for day two, so I thought it was like maybe like if people need to do like a last minute sign up, that's what I thought it was for.
That's what the Ansar Nisa one was for. Yeah, that's the point. There was too many QR codes, and we should have labeled them.
And we need QR codes with labels, or at least
Yeah, they need to have labels. I agree.
Yep, that's something to
But
know.
we did. I mean, that wasn't too difficult because we had the volunteers and, the registration table workers right there to redirect people to let them know, yeah, scan this one, donate, blah, blah, blah,
Got it.
and then
Okay.
checked in.
Right.
So that was okay.
So we agree that it would have been helpful to also have signage in the base in the garage.
More signage in the garage. We had it, but I guess more.
like
Leading to the garage.
directional signage, like go this way.
Okay, okay. Directional signage.
All right, so Clara, directions for breakout sessions, we discussed that. We need to do more with the color code and all that good stuff. Assign a dedicated wayfinder and guest support team. So let me just back up a little bit. Volunteer team, y'all did an amazing job because it was a huge task. And mashallah, I saw what y'all were doing and the directing folks and stuff, and I think y'all did amazing. Um, we just need more people as volunteers. That's what I see as the only drawback. We needed more people, but assign a dedicated wayfinder. What did you mean by that? I think Sister Fatima, you came up with this, if I'm not mistaken.
That just means a volunteer or whoever that's constantly directing to places.
That's their job, just direct.
So I know a few sisters were unable to make it to the masjid to pray because as they were going, they were stopped constantly. So something like that. Just someone in set locations that make sense
That was me.
and direct people to the different various directions they're trying to go into. Where's the cafe? Where's the masjid? Where's the bathroom? Where's upstairs? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, more woman power. All right. Room and setup. Okay. Before I do the room divider, because I don't know if it applies anymore, I'm thinking that we should actually secure hotel rooms for service providers, one room per provider. Which it's gonna come up to we have to do it for 2 nights. We can't do it for just one night. I don't know if y'all understand why, because when we need to book the check in and check out, so it ends up being 2 nights, right?
Okay.
My only issue is being able to cover that cost. And I think when we were, and I discussed it with Sister Sharima, Sister Jamila, and who else? Someone else. Like, who should we put to, and Deborah, who should we put together? We had two vendors who were sharing one room and one vendor who had like some interesting things that they were doing. So we said that we'll just give that person their own room. But the sharing, I don't think is gonna work anymore. It was a little too much. It was a lot too much, not a little. Because I made it a point to like pause and run up there to the hotel just to kind of peep in and see what the setup looked like. And Jamila was explaining to me that the ones that were sharing the room, once you open the door, you can kind of see the client that they're servicing. So it didn't make sense.
Is it
And
a
I looked at
private?
the
La-
privacy was an issue. And
yeah,
I looked at room divider because I saw the other room, the lady that had one to herself, she had a room divider, but I don't think that would solve the problem. I think what would solve the problem is for each person to have their own space, which means it's
Each
expensive. We would have to, I feel like we would have to charge the service providers a different cost.
How much were the rooms each?
They just paid the base vendor fee of 170.
No, how much were
No,
the
Oh, how
rooms?
much?
about
150. 150 per night, and we have to do 2 nights.
So it was 300 for, so total 600.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Go ahead,
how did
Deborah.
you get to 600 for 2 rooms?
Yeah. You have your hand up, Deborah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, other than that as well, the reason why we need to have separate rooms is one service provider can cost the other service provider based on off of their demeanor and behavior. I heard about that feedback as well on Sunday. Yes.
What does
So
that mean?
I don't know all the
Explain that.
details.
What
What did you
what
say?
does that mean?
what did you
Huh?
say? Can
Can you
you
repeat it?
explain? What are you saying?
I said we also need private rooms so that one service provider is not affecting another service provider. I don't know exactly the details of what happened, but I know that volunteers came and were reporting to me and Sister Fatima about one service provider slamming the door and everybody left out the line, like, forget about it. I don't know. Like, I just know that that happened, and we don't want one service provider to be affected because of what another person did, you
Yeah.
know?
Can you share who
So
it was?
I don't know. I
Oh,
actually really
okay.
don't know. Yeah,
Anybody
I
got
don't
the
know.
tea?
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
No,
just,
I don't know this one.
they
the
excited about
sisters
the
did come
different,
and talk to us.
we need the
The
volunteers for that. Or who got,
Yeah, well,
Fatima has knows it.
because Mizan had, did you have de-escalate that one? Somebody asked you to? Yeah, so somebody asked Mizan to go de-escalate, but a sister was supposed to be getting a massage and something happened and a door was slammed in her face and I think it was maybe somebody getting acupuncture, that's something like that. But she did come and talk to us and she was just saying how she didn't like the demeanor of the person, so of the massage therapist, and all these things happened. But she was also like there very early, and she was so happy with the conference. But it was that one
Wow.
incident that really just kind of like turned her off, and then she was just kind of like, I'm gonna go home now. So
Wow.
And that sister in particular had actually helped that service provider book 3 other people that were behind her.
So what happened between them?
We don't know. We weren't there.
yeah, I
Like
don't.
what caused her to like, I'm just, because it seems so she
Everybody that
left.
was in line got out of the line. We did hear that. I don't know how true or not true that was, but whoever was in the line at that time got out of the line. She also did not get serviced. It's just a bad experience, when people, you can affect someone else like that when that person didn't do that, is basically what I'm saying.
Is
So
there
who slammed the door? The massage therapist?
I think it was the whoever she shared the room with. Maybe because it was getting out of hand. This
yeah,
is what I took from it, that it was just kind of getting out of hand, just to close the door, just to try to end it.
I did hear from the acupuncturist, was it Marie or Medium? She did express that there was no privacy and that really bothered her.
Yeah.
She was saying she was like, just be aware. Because I think my mom wanted to do acupuncture with her and she was like, just to let you know, there's no privacy. So as long as you're okay with that. And I was just like,
like it seemed that she was like really, that was by the end of the day, but she said that in every appointment that she had, there were people coming in and out of the room.
Yeah, and I think, but
And I think that's why the room door just, I don't think the intention was to slam the door.
Right.
It was more so we have a waiting area in the room already. Either come in or stay out, close the door. That's how I interpreted what I heard, but I wasn't there, so I really just don't know.
There
yeah,
was
Just kind
too
of
much.
the etiquette of sharing a space, I guess.
I
Yes.
think just across the board, each person has to have their own room,
Mhm.
and the cost for service providers has to go up for us to be able to cover it.
Mhm.
I do intend to touch base with each one of them and get a sense of one, I want to know if they made money, because that would help us understand, okay, we would be able to increase the cost because the we cannot cover it on our
What
own.
about the cost of the ticket for day 2?
Say again? Oh,
What
use
about the
that
cost
towards
for the
it.
ticket for day 2?
Yeah, I think we were already kind of it just seemed like an extra stuff that we were trying to figure out how to cover that cost. Remember, we were not going to get hotel rooms unless we had service providers who were actually unless we had a threshold, at least two service providers to put two in one room. Like that was the thinking in terms of the hotel. It was tied to us being able to get.
Yeah, I'm just saying going forward, we see that there's a really strong interest for these types of services. So the people will sign up.
Oh, so
Talking
you're
about
saying
going
increase the
forward.
ticket cost?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That was okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that was for sure. Deborah looking. I know Deborah's happy. Yes, they too will be increased. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, that's just really unfortunate. I feel badly, but
Because they're already paying 175.
yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't want to. Okay.
Can I
Trash bags.
also
Hmm?
can I also say one thing? For the
Mhm.
acupuncture, she said that she also didn't expect as many people that signed up like in advance. So I think they would be willing to pay like an additional amount because I do think they made money because she wasn't expecting all those people. But I don't know if
Yeah.
they did come in, but they did express
Whoa,
interest.
hold on. My alarm just went off. Who did that? Hold on. What happened?
Hopefully, the service providers were also able to share their cards so that they could connect with the people outside of this, afterwards, because they're
Right.
local.
I
And
think that
I
they
want to mention, and I'll repeat it when she comes back, but I think it would be a good idea to have like a no compete model. I mean, which was the case, except we had two people doing hijama. And I don't know you all's opinion, but I just don't think that that's
we
proper.
we did. I thought it was
We
just one person.
No, we
We did have
did.
two people, and I think I was
So
here.
I'm gonna tell you how that came about, because yes, you can blame me for that.
Hmm.
It's so first of all, we were supposed to
No
reach out to that
blame.
woman the night before and tell her that she can't come. But we tired, whatever, moving, we did not do that. So she ended up coming with all of her stuff, which was quite a bit, to the day of.
Oh,
How are we supposed to tell her, oh no?
no, I understand now. I
Okay.
understand.
And
Yeah.
in all honesty, I don't, Dr. Rashida, I know you're saying we were supposed to tell her
One
she
more
couldn't
Wait,
question.
come.
No,
when is she?
was she contracted? Like, did she have, I don't know how it goes
Who
with
is
the
she?
vendors, but is there like a vendor agreement signed and
She had been trying to do that ahead of Friday. She had been trying to do it. She was just having issues. We were just in every which way, so we didn't really attend to her well. That's what I would say. So I don't know that we would really say we should have told her not to come. I don't know because she was trying to do her process. I think she was the one that heard about it and was ready to sign up on the spot. Like was
Wait,
ready.
so who
She
was
just had
the
an issue with the uploading of the agreement
so
form.
So
if
no, no,
that's the
what
case, how
happened?
did the other woman how did the one that
Okay.
was in the hotel
So
room come to be?
right. So we're gonna have to ask Fauzia about what her thought process was.
Yeah.
Because yes, that doesn't address to your non-compete. I think I don't know, Fauzia heard about her and got excited about her and was thinking that maybe, oh yeah, we should have, because this is going to be a popular service. We should have more. We were talking about that before, that we were going to have more than one because so that we can spread it so people are not waiting. Because it takes a while to do hijama. So that was a service that we were like, okay, where people going to be interested in? We should have more than one. So the other hijama person, so you had the person who was in the hotel, and then the other one was Namira, something like that.
Oh, Namir.
So
Okay. Okay.
In the
Namira.
art center, where we were doing the art there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm actually curious because I had to leave. I wonder how she ended up working out. So to me, she only had one person. So who and that was actually Sheikha Aisa Prime, who wanted her specifically. That just
Oh, okay,
happened to
cool.
turn out to be that way. I don't even know if she had other customers
She did.
because,
She did.
oh, okay.
She
Okay.
did. Um, I intend to follow up with her as well. I'm sorry, I was talking while I was like, why did not listen to me? I was muted.
Okay, so
Um,
I'm excited to hear that they actually did participate and do some of the stuff in the fitness day. I saw Ustad
yes,
come in the gym. Okay, alhamdulillah.
it was good to see them. Um, sorry, did y'all have a question about like why she had a different setup, or do I need to go
No,
into
No, no,
that?
no, no.
No,
when you
Why
they
did you,
answered
what did,
already.
Jamila's original thought was, why do we have two people doing hijama? So what was your thought process as to why we needed this sister? Because you asked me specifically to reach out to her to do it. So that's what we're asking. Why did you want two hijama people?
Yeah, I thought it would be popular. Hijama, and also we had like a whole almost hour-long session to introduce hijama, the sunnah of hijama, and all that good stuff. Um, so yeah, that was part of it. Thanks. Camila, go ahead.
I actually got hijama with Kyla from Eternal Restoration House, and she told me that she got really good business. I think she was able to see at least 10 people.
Mashallah.
Um, and her services were anywhere from $50 to $100 per person.
And folks
And
paid it.
she made the money back at least, and she did well. I don't know about Sister Namira though. I didn't. I don't know. I was aware that Kyla, like she was the one that was on the schedule.
Yeah,
So
Namira was not on the schedule. It's a
Yeah,
long
exactly.
story.
Yeah, we really tried to pull it apart, but so I mean, as far as the non-compete, it was the other sister that was in the hotel who had the pre-register. She had everything. Namir was just like, maybe if someone else was, like on the side to get whatever was left over.
mm,
So yeah, so I don't think that she really took away from the other one's business.
Oh
That's what I
no,
mean.
no, no, no,
it
no. And
was,
and
but
when we made the announcement, it was if you did not previously register, sign up to say you wanted to get this done, this is your drop-in option. I don't think she took any business away. So now that y'all mentioned this, committee members getting service done.
Wait, before you get into that,
are you
before you
allowed
get
to?
into that,
Sorry,
before you get into that,
Go
conflict.
ahead, Deborah.
we didn't actually really address what Sister Jamila was saying. She's at what she was more so asking is, and I know you already had an idea about this, Dr. Fazia, but what she was saying is that should we do a thing moving forward where there is a non-compete thing? And I wanted to say something to that because I think from the very beginning, your idea was to have multiple service providers doing the same thing in general,
Yeah.
just based off
Yeah.
of the numbers that
Just
we were
in terms,
expecting.
exactly, in terms of numbers, and I know like people want massage therapy, people want hijama. I don't think it would I don't think you'll be taken away from any business necessarily. And which is another reason the idea behind this having this services provided is to give folks a taste of what you have to offer, which I told, I think I did, the service providers, if you usually do like an hour massage, do 30 minutes. Don't do a whole hour. I want you to try to reach as many people, get their contact information, share your information with them so that they can follow up with you. So that way you see more people. And I already knew that they would be, inshallah, like popular enough for them to get the business and not necessarily take away from each other. I don't think
Yeah, the
if
high
we have another
demand.
like a second massage therapist, like I think they'll all still make their money.
That might be
Yeah.
true, but if we increase the cost for vendors, that could be an issue. Because if we're now saying each of them get their own hotel room and we're upping the vendor price for service providers, they need to know, like, for it to be worth it for them, I feel like they would need to, a lot of them would want to no compete. That would make them feel comfortable because then they know they're getting all the business.
There's no that would make it difficult for us to function to run something smoothly because then you will have people waiting long lines and they would be away from the activities happening in the sports center. That was more of my concern.
Well, but was there like a long
There
line?
was a time, well, not oh, I don't know about long lines there, but I felt like there was a time where it just seemed like everybody would left and was going to get services, which is good. It
There
just kind of
was
emptied
Well,
out.
the registration table can answer to that. There was a bunch of people just going to go sit and go get their service. And I mean me, I don't know, just my personal opinion, I don't think that we would have that competition necessarily because they would both or however many would get they would get the what is it called? The clients. They would get the clients. And I'm saying that because honestly, I think what happened, I wasn't in there, but I think what ended up happening was that it was announced once at the beginning and sisters were coming throughout the day. So had they known, they probably would have because none of the providers contacted me on my phone. Or even if they tried to, I probably didn't have service for them to actually reach me. But if that was set ahead of time, I don't think we would have issues with people getting services
then
from from anyone.
to that point, Deborah, I think we need to have a proper system in place for people signing up for service providers, maybe a separate booking site where they can where service providers have access to it on the back end and then people are registering directly with them and have set time slots so that when it's their time they can head over to the guest house versus all of them waiting in the waiting room.
Yeah, I think we definitely need a better system. And I
Yeah,
don't want to get
inshallah.
into that necessarily, but that's one thing that I know that we talked about and couldn't really rectify completely. And we came up with something which is not perfect, was not perfect. But I would even want the service providers to be part of that conversation, like what works best for you, and try to integrate
Um,
that.
Yeah, we just didn't
yeah,
have enough time to set something up on the website, or like we just
yeah,
ran out of time. Lots
yeah.
of
And
ideas, but we ran
honestly,
out of time to implement them.
But part
sorry.
of it was as
Um,
actually putting the onus on the service provider themselves, because I think we were having that conversation. Like, well, I'm giving services. I don't have time to be calling people and saying your time is out. So maybe they could have had someone at home or something, like have their list. But I know, and then the list was given to them late. But like they will have someone so that to help them manage them for their business. I don't.
yeah. And
I
honestly, from what
yeah.
I know, sorry, Dr. Rashida.
No, I was done. I'm sorry.
Oh, from what I know, actually, the volunteers were doing that. The volunteers became their little assistants. They did. And Amna's about to speak. I know Amna knows
Go
about it.
ahead, Amna.
That's what I heard. So they were calling.
Go ahead, Amna.
Yeah, so yeah, we were calling people just because we gave the list to them so last minute, and then the vendors were kind of getting frustrated by that. So it was easier for us to just we created group chats with all the participants, and then we sent like doc, for the acupuncturist, she had a link, so we sent everyone the link, and then people just registered that way. For the massage lady, we set up a group chat, and then like each person like just signed up for a slot. We gave times and each person said the time that they wanted to. Whoever was waiting in that area, they were waiting because they didn't know how to register. So I think that's like one thing. But everyone else who had appointments, they
Go
came
ahead,
at the
Amna.
time. Oh.
Now, I was just saying, go ahead. I wish I could do my clap tune thing too. I just can't find a daggone emoji.
Uh, sorry. I thought it was muted. Sorry.
No, I'm absolutely impressed. I'm gonna jump
And
in.
yeah, so and then the other lady who was doing the hijama, she was able like she worked with Sister Musina and they were able to like schedule patients and I think she took it over for the most part and her sister was helping her. So for the most part it worked out. Yes, like I think the thing that was like the hardest was people not knowing where to go and how to like register. I think the people who had appointments, they came when it needed to happen and like it like ended up working out. But yeah, like it could have been better.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Amna. Appreciate you. All right. We're gonna move on from that one. Masha. So I think bottom line, everybody should have their own hotel room space and set it up however. All right. Strengthen venue partnership, consider conference center. Okay. Yeah, I'm team DCA.
I'm sorry. Can we have a quick go back? I'm sorry, because I'm
Go
gonna
ahead. To
forget.
where?
The secure hotel rooms and the last comment you made about everyone having their own hotel room. Maybe when we look at the budget and we consider the space, maybe also consider having, remember we talked about having a house and each service provider would have a room in the house and then the people waiting could wait in the living room area.
Why did we scrap that?
And Kyla was expecting that because she drove to the house.
It was,
Just
I may have told her that.
yeah, she
Oh,
was like,
I think it was because we at first didn't, we weren't sure if we were gonna have enough service providers.
okay.
Scrap the house.
Yeah, because it was $500 a
Yeah,
night, and
and
we would have yeah.
it got all these providers, and we didn't have time. Like it was easier
Yeah.
to book the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
when things
that's
were moving
something, yeah, thanks,
slow.
Halima. I totally forgot about that.
Mhm.
That's something to consider, for
Budget
sure.
wise.
If we want to rent, because they have tons of rooms, well, not tons, but enough rooms for them to be able to set up, and everyone would,
The
yeah, that's
reason why I
something.
don't like, I'm not crazy about that idea. The house would be nice. It's just, and when we go into more day two was fantastic in its concept, but it did not reach its full potential. And that is because of the time that people had to be away doing this and kind of, all of this stuff. So I'm just thinking if people had to walk all the way to the guest houses, which is even further away, how like towards the afternoon, I kind of felt bad for the speakers, like because we'd had to have one, three people that's there. And that, yeah, now I know this that because everybody was probably in that guest house, sitting, waiting for services or whatever. I don't know what happened towards the end of the afternoon. I think even Marie had like, I don't know, probably like four people in her session. It's just so I really wish, remember when we walked up to that space, that's where it was a changing room. I really wish that was actually a possibility. It wouldn't
It's
work,
too small,
but
yeah.
it's too small. But if there was something like that, it needs to be something close and on site almost for that to work. The guest house is the closest thing to it, but I would not have people go all the way to the guest house.
To the
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
residence house.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
to the residents. I'm sorry.
they
I'm
would
sorry.
either have to drive or walk like really far.
Yeah, and it is already so packed, and it was already so little time. So we'll get more into day two of what happened, but
Listen, can we
no.
talk to them to open up? Okay, so the space that Rashida's talking about is some of you who are familiar with the hammam, the hammam space is where the art therapy took place on the lower level. When you go up the stairs, they have like they're technically dressing rooms, and they're like they need just a little bit more space for them to be able to set up for massage therapy, for hijama and all that good stuff. Because the hijama lady, Namira, had to set up basically outside of that room, that space, because it was too tight.
Yeah, it was the rooms themselves were too tight. I mean, it ended up working out great for her. She had like a nice little like, space, but I just wish that there was something like that was on like closer if we
Yeah.
were going to do that.
And inshallah, maybe by next year, maybe that space will be open again and functional, and there'll be some other options to us. Because right now it's still shut down, right?
Some part.
Yeah, it's like a construction. So I'm thinking that if we possibly had like now because that was supposed to be that's the change rooms is a art therapy, and then that kind of goes into what was completely shut down, which was their entrance area. It was
The
that could
lobby.
have yeah, the lobby. So that maybe kind of setting up maybe divider. I don't know, like that if we
Well,
had access to that lobby, that could possibly give a lot more space and maybe with some, some,
To do
some,
what?
what about the massage room? Dr.
The
Fuzzy.
massage room is too small, and only one thing can really happen at
Yeah,
the same
that would
time.
help though, because we could do one in the massage room, one in that upstairs area that Sister Namira was in. We could do.
Remember this, it's a mirror. So the art room and the upstairs changing room, there's a duplicate of that on the other side.
Okay, so
Oh.
two of
But
those.
the issue with the issue with where Namira was doing her service, she could not use inside the dressing room. She had to be outside the dressing room. That's not privacy at all. That's not good.
What's Rashida saying was good then? What about that space where you saying was good then, Rashida?
No,
No,
Rashida's just saying as a waiting area, so
As a
that
waiting area?
no, it was
No. I was saying if we had, I'm like in visualizing with once the lobby opens up, right? So if I was saying with some creative decorating, like people do whole like, physicals and stuff like that with like like curtain, and not
oh,
it's
you're thinking like to have dividers and have the
yeah, dividers and
service
have, yeah, so
there.
it's just that have that more space. It would all be on the same thing. And then we could, if we had access to that whole lobby, that whole space, and then they would have their separate, they could have their tables and they can have, it's going behind a curtain, not a curtain, but like the
Like a
dividers. They're
divider.
standing dividers.
I
Medical conferences have done this with the open space that you just separate it, that's
So that's
eventually like
thought. That's
ERs and stuff like that. That's how you have space.
but
that's a
That's
it's
how you have privacy. That's what I meant to say.
because if the lobby's open, then people would be entering through that area.
we would have to lock it. Again,
We
remember,
would have
we would
it would
have to
be
control.
no access to
Yeah, we
that
would have to
lobby from there.
control entry into the whole space. So we would have everything locked down the way it was for this. I think they did a relatively decent job like ensuring that the doors were locked and the entry space was only through the garage where the registration table was. Now those little kids that made their way in, I don't know how they got in, but they're kids and they will figure things out.
Yeah, they're there
Um,
as well.
but I think the main doors were locked. So that's what we would have again. I would never want anyone to come through that front door because that just gives us more work to in terms of control.
I'd say jot down all the ideas and bring those to the conversation with some service providers to see what it is that they need. Because each one will be different, right? Some need access to water, some need quiet, some need a dark space. So, they're
Yeah.
all going to need different things.
Yeah. No, that's a good point too. But yeah, I do agree. Going all the way to the residence space is too far. It's too far.
Unless we end the talks and all that kind of stuff at a certain time, and then they're saying, okay, this is just service provider time, and then call it a day. I just think them going on at the same time was just very. It was yeah
Yeah,
that didn't work.
I get it. Yeah. But then that like after everything is let's say we even end everything at 2. So that's 2 to what time on a Sunday evening? Are we gonna have this go on until folks got to get back to their homes? Some people are traveling. Anyway,
How are
logistics to
things
think
at the end
about
of the day? How are things toward the
for
after
what?
Monday?
Oh, it was dead. Like the health and wellness chat had like 4 women in the in the sessions.
Mhm.
Folks, I feel like once folks like they attend maybe like two health and wellness sessions were well attended, and then the earlier group activities like kickboxing was packed. Belly dancing was packed. But as the day went on, folks just went off to their
Services.
self-care
Services.
services, like peace out, I'm out. They didn't
Yeah,
come
and
back.
that
I
was,
mean,
For Hannah
that
to
was partially on us because we didn't have lunch.
that too. Yeah, people had to leave the venue to get lunch. Or
that too.
yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Sister
But yeah,
Hannah too, she did CrossFit. She didn't have any like at
I
first she
was
didn't
going to
it
call
was one
Hannah,
person. It was one person. It was one sister that went in her
and I
class.
think it
But
was a friend.
yeah, but I felt so bad because she was like, there's no one here, and I was trying to find people and I couldn't because it was like the center was empty, like everyone was gone.
Yeah,
And then also another thing is because of the scheduling, Marie's line dancing happened to be at the same time as her CrossFit. So everyone
Oh,
went
yeah.
to
the line dancing on the basketball court, but there was no one to go to Sister Hanatu's CrossFit class because they were like they overlapped. I don't know what happened
Yeah,
to
there were overlaps throughout the day, but I think
Also,
You just had a
wait,
dwindling
hold on.
crowd
That
also.
changed with CrossFit. Halima, I don't know if you remember. That was a last minute kind of switcheroo when we had to figure out holes in the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
But
that
you
was an
also had
oversight.
sounded like you had a dwindling crowd.
Yeah, definitely an oversight. Okay. Go ahead, Deborah.
another factor to the dwindling crowd is Maghrib time. It
Mm.
gets dark. It's Sunday. People got to go get ready for the week.
Yeah, I already have it in the back of my mind. Sunday's got to end by 4.
That's another thing to consider for when we're planning for another day two type of
Yeah,
session.
it needs to end
Actually,
by.
this would be a good time to bring up. I don't remember if it would, no, it was not a volunteer, but it was a participant. And she has said, how about we don't, this is her suggestion or her feedback. How about we don't have all the talks on day one and then all the activity on day two? Split it.
No.
So I'm just saying what her
Logistically,
recommendation, I'm just saying what her
yeah,
recommendation was in terms of, what her feedback was in terms of activity. I don't necessarily think she was thinking day two activity, but just more so practical than going through a full day of talks. That's what her feedback was to me. I
it's a
do remember.
conference. That's what
Yeah.
conference is. But logistically, it won't work, Deborah. Imagine then we got to get out of our clothes and get into like workout gear, and it's not, it just won't. I just can't see it. Go ahead, Sister.
And maybe next year for the conference, when is daylight savings? We maybe need
It's
to,
Yeah,
before daylight saving. I
yeah,
yes, we
already
we
need
have
to
it
schedule it
before.
October,
before then.
October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And we can talk about later the reason behind adding Friday. And it's before daylight savings. I already looked at this a lot of time. It's not as bam 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 like this one was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Go ahead, Sister Fatima.
So those are the dates.
Yesterday,
Those are the-
I thought Islamia made a good point when she was saying how we should kind of scale back a little bit and maybe not have so much, and then that way, like maybe did she say like have one keynote speaker, and then that way they get a full hour to speak, and instead of cutting the three short
Yeah.
or
What
like that.
sorry, I remember what I think when I thought about that, I think the way I think we could fix that is to not have the keynote speakers do a breakout session. But still, I still see 3 speakers as being useful. And we can go into that more when we're really discussing it. Um, well, we can discuss why I think 3 speakers or at least 2 would be good. Um, at the end of the day, I don't want it to become a one-person show where this is all the conference is just about this one person because it's not. I want it to be about the conference is about this 2 or 3. I think I'm going to stick with 3, inshallah. 3 women who are addressing health and wellness from an Islamic lens, kind of thing.
I think it's about the time given to them, not necessarily the number of women, but 40 minutes or 20 minutes, it was not sufficient.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
need
and
like an hour.
definitely that
If you have
factors into it.
if you
And
have one on
another,
Friday, that can help
yeah,
free up some
I think
time.
Friday would help. Another suggestion was that we have only one breakout session instead of 2. So I already see that as a way to cut to get time, give more time to the speakers.
Mm-hmm.
I like the breakout session though. It was like the breakout session with Sister Aisha Prime was very nice and is intimate, and it allowed the audience to ask her questions directly.
I think
So
we can make, Amira, you suggested it. We can make the breakout session with those keynote speakers something special
yeah,
where the VIP thing and you pay extra to do that.
yeah.
Because she knows how to pull folks in, but I don't necessarily want her to do it for the group.
yeah.
We'll talk some more about that. But yeah, I hear I hear what you're saying, Sister Fatima, reminding us of what was shared yesterday. I do agree that um we should scale back a bit more, but I don't necessarily, and she knows, my sister knows that I'm a showy person. Scale back where? Like we're not taking, don't take away my flowers. Just, but we can think in terms of how to spread it out and not be all, you know, a lot at once.
Yeah, I think just adding Friday afternoon is already going to help spread it out, and
Yeah,
then that way, and holding it at a earlier time in the year. If it's early enough in the year, vendors could even be outside because the weather will be warm and nice.
that
Access the outdoor space even more. We didn't access the outdoor space at all because of the weather.
yeah, that's a thought. But yeah, thanks for that reminder. Okay, we're gonna move on from that one. Um, we're gonna talk about certain venue partnership. That's basically DCA. So yeah, I'm team DCA. Let's still stick with them. Who else is, wants us to consider like a conference center? For all the reasons that Sister Halima shared, I just feel like we as Muslims don't have the space. And as imperfect as it is, it's still a situation where we can work with them to get them up to par, inshallah.
I agree.
Go ahead, Deborah.
No, I was just raising my hand to the vote.
Um,
Wait. So what's the vote? Do the vote,
What are we voting?
Deborah.
DCA?
Okay, I ain't got.
No,
Let
my
me.
vote was not for DCA. She said the opposite.
Okay, who wants to stay in DCA at DCA? Raise your hand. I'm
before we
raising my because I
vote,
don't know.
I just wanted to say, I don't know if you guys are familiar with DC Mist, but they previously used to rent out I was speaking to one of my friends, Nazia, actually. She's the one that had the coffee card on day one. And
Hmm.
she's saying that
Oh, good.
University of Maryland would be like a good potential venue. Like if we were open to doing it outside of DCA, I know that they have like a musalla or prayer space that the MSA uses. Like local universities could be an option. I know that UMD also has like the hotel that's opposite the campus that is regularly used for like conferences. And it also has like the hotel that's attached. So there's a hotel in the conference center's
Oh,
hotel.
yeah.
No,
So
wait,
great.
Halima. I thought they renovated it, Halima.
Um, so it's great. It's
That
great to
place is
have.
still very much a shed with rugs. Like, I don't think that would be.
Okay, yeah, maybe not.
No.
Nugs.
It's definitely not as nice as DCA, but what I'm saying is that the hotel might have better, like just because
So
they
Okay,
my
yeah.
regularly have conferences, it would be a better space to have
right,
like.
my thing is, I honestly want to stick with the Muslims. I want to stick with DCA until we outgrow that space. If we get to the point where we're having 250, 300 people register for the conference, then I want us to start looking elsewhere. Until then, I think there's a lot because it also helps us manage our, let me only, it helps me, Fozia, manage my anxiety to know that we're in a space that I feel safe and I feel like people still got our backs if anything goes wrong, anything happens, until we fi really figure out what we're doing. And that's only going to take years of experience for us to get there.
I agree. I think DCA is a good spot. And like this was the first year for us with the conference. I think it was equally the first year with DCA, maybe, with our conference, with us. So some of the expectations or some of the things we would have liked to have had, we know now we didn't foresee some of those things. And now we can maybe communicate better with them what we need to make next year more successful, to fill in the gaps with the things we've seen. But I think it's a great convenience being able to point to the big white building right outside, and that's the musalla. That's where we go pray, and they turn around and come right back. and being there all together. I just like that we're on a campus and really close to everything, even going to lunch and getting back to the auditorium, going to pray, getting back to the auditorium. And I think some of the things that didn't quite go like we like through conversations, I think that could be fixed. It wasn't like make or break some of the issues that we experienced. I think those things can be corrected.
Another thing to note about Salah, especially when you're reaching out to huge groups of people, always remember that people identify with different madhab. And there will be women who will not pray with other women in Jama'ah, which brings the whole issue of like now we're having people praying at different times, and that time has to be factored into it. Not that, we'll still have to eventually figure it out, inshallah, when we grow to be bigger than what DCA can accommodate. But I just for me, things just make sense for right now. It doesn't mean that what y'all are proposing doesn't make sense either. But like I said, to manage my anxiety, um, I'm Team DCA, and I took this thing off so I can do my reaction. All right, we ready to take the vote?
So what is the question specifically? So
Team
you know what,
DCA, raise your hand if you're Team DCA. Let me raise my hand. We got one. Somebody recount this. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. I don't know.
all I saw was the thumb. I didn't even see the hand to raise it. So,
I raised my hand. I don't know how to do
oh,
this.
there
Okay,
it
raise
is.
your hand. There you go.
There it is. I see it now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of us are Team DCA. Okay. Let's all lower our hands. And then team conference. Conference center.
I don't think we had to count. It's 10 people, 6, 4. It's all right.
We just want to be fair. We don't want nobody saying we rigged it.
Amina dropped off, so we don't know what she wanted to do.
Is
No.
Sister Amira still with us? She didn't. I don't know if she voted.
Amira, what'd you vote?
I'm DCA.
Okay.
No,
Um,
you didn't vote.
yeah, I just think I think in the long and Dr. Rashida mentioned in the group chat, like we're also helping them grow. And I see that they do want to look to us to give them ideas and stuff like that. So, inshallah it'll be mutually
Beneficial.
beneficial.
Mhm.
But I honestly think if we have hired help to help us move things smoothly, will our experience will be way different, way different than what
But
it
I
is.
do agree we should hire help, but there are some things that DCA should be responsible for that,
Yeah.
like they needed more attention, like cleanliness. There was like areas that needed a good mopping, that
I
needed a
literally,
good
yeah,
needed cleaning. The women's bathrooms needed paper turned out, needed paper changed and replenished, and countertops like dried. If it's Muslims, it's going to be wet.
yeah.
We're going to have some water everywhere. I,
Thank you.
and that's nothing that we can budget for. That's for the venue.
Yeah. Deborah, can you please make note of those things that we want to bring to DCA and also add to that the VIP residence house? Sister Sharima was pointing out like how it was kind of grimy. And
It
I know
was
we
very
experienced that
grimy.
also.
Yeah.
We experienced that during our retreat as well. Like,
Hmm.
y'all need this freshly cleaned. It can't be cleaned for like 3 months ago, and y'all think it's okay to just have somebody come stay there, especially that beautiful one, the
And
VIP.
they need someone who cleaning is what they do. You just can't have a brother go there real quick and wipe the sink out. And like it needs to be cleaned
They had
professionally.
that. They
What
had that. They
what
had
was
a
wrong
sister.
with the residential house?
What?
What was wrong with the residential house?
It was dirty.
Really, like,
No,
No,
Jamila, I don't think
so
you went
here's
in.
the
I don't
thing.
think you're
There's a
talking about
difference.
the.
It's a difference between straightening up and having things clean and dusted and mopped in the corners of the walls. The corner of the rooms. You see a
Oh,
collection of yuck, and the
But
bathtubs.
Jamila, you didn't go in the VIP house though,
Yeah, which
right?
We
Is that the
did.
Talking
pink?
about,
Is that the
The
pink
VIP
house?
house what did have was
uh-huh.
Miami as well.
Is that
I
the
didn't
pink
look
house
that
with the
close.
beautiful
yeah,
ceiling?
that's the pink house.
It was dirty.
Yes,
It
yes.
was.
It was dirty.
I maybe I didn't look closely. It
Yeah,
seemed
you
like
didn't look closely. It was grimy.
It was great. Now, I
It
mean,
was
the place,
dirty.
you could see how beautiful the place is, but it's like any home that is used and not kind of kept up. If I mean,
yeah,
my house is nice, but if I don't sweep my floors, you could
it
tell.
wasn't deep clean basically. Yeah, like there was still stuff around.
Not
I mean, it
even,
was
And
honestly, not even a
I
deep
went in the
clean.
bathrooms because I kind of looked through the house. The bathtub, it was the same issue with the house that we rented. The bathtubs were, they may have been cleaned, but they don't appear clean.
like it maybe clean a couple of weeks or maybe even months ago, and
It
and
looks as if it looked like something that would be used over and over and over, and then one day you cleaned it. So now it's kind of just forever stained and kind of not nice.
oh wow, I didn't notice. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that
So
was what the speakers, that was what they
No, this is from our observation.
no, but that's what they saw because they were staying there.
Yeah, let's hope they didn't notice it. They just saw the beauty. Like y'all missed it. Hopefully they just saw like,
Yeah,
oh,
yes,
nice.
yeah, hopefully they missed it too.
Yeah.
So, something that, I know that you had said deep clean, but like not even a deep, just even a general cleaning
just a
wasn't done
general mopping,
before
cleaning, like
for any location,
it had
cultural
not, you
centered.
could see it had not been done.
We need to
Yeah,
hire Sister Jamila.
it just wasn't done. And
No,
that was,
you can, no, you hire QA. You hire,
Okay, QA. Yeah.
yes. But, and maybe, I don't know if that's the difference, but I could just see that this place had not been cleaned, and that was the same conditions, the house when we rented it
And
for
and
the
and I
retreat.
let them, sorry, and I let them know about this. Like I was like, this is not acceptable. It's like, okay, we heard you, nothing gets done. It's still the same thing over and over again. But I think now that, mashallah, they do take us way more seriously than
Absolutely. I
before.
think they definitely, I would imagine, want to keep this partnership. And if every time we keep telling them they're dirty, and respectfully, of course, uh, they might be inclined to make some more changes. We could possibly suggest some companies. I'm not meaning me, but yeah, why not? But I'm not meaning me, but just something like there's some attention that needs to be paid to these areas that maybe they don't have the capacity to do. And when they're going to have these big events, they might need to bring in help for themselves.
Right,
Right.
right,
Yeah,
right.
they seem to sort of dismiss what we were saying. Like we'll tell them like it's not clean, but they're just like, okay, like, they
But
kind
I think,
Like I
I'm
said,
sorry,
we,
I'm
we
sorry.
would have, sorry, we plan to, inshallah, have a proper, like the sit down meeting we had before. And I would really want Dr. Fatih to be there as well, so he can hear it firsthand. It won't be somebody said something to him.
of, right.
We'll start off with all the things that went well, how wonderful it was, and hopefully by then we'll have evaluations to share with them and how everyone loved being at DCA. But here are some ways that we really need to improve on and outline that. And I think there's no avoiding it. We would mention how that, excuse me, VIP residents looked, and let them know that that was the same issue that we have brought to them 2, 3 years during the retreat. Like, this is not acceptable. This is not right. This is not looking good. And it's still the same issue that's persistent. So they clearly need to hear it more and more forcefully from, it's still coming from a place of love from us, because we love being in this place. So hopefully it's something that they would take with them, and really do something about.
Another thing.
My thing is, I'm sorry, one more thing, Camilla.
Mhm.
My thing is money talks. I would say just like if you rent a car or whatever like that, or they have like if you smoke in it or something, they would charge you $500. Like if we can do just like you move into this place, if we do this walkthrough 48, 24 hours and it is not clean, then we are allowed a $500, $600 cleaning fee. We'll get our people, but you're gonna give us this money back
Well,
if
the
we
thing
have to
is,
clean it ourselves.
I was just about
Like that.
to mention that we paid a cleaning fee. So it should have been cut like
if every guest is paying a cleaning fee for that space, then it should be cleaned before and after us. So we paid like was it $100 or $150?
100 or 150, something like that.
So that means if they're charging cleaning fees to people that rent that house, then it should be properly cleaned before we get there.
It clearly hasn't been cleaned because we've been getting charges cleaning fee from the get-go, and it's still the same issue every year.
Right, but then this time have it be in a contract. If I'm paying you a cleaning fee and it's not clean, not only will you have to be paying my cleaning fee, because we love you, but this is a business. It's like family, whatever. We love you. But if I have
I
to,
think
if this is not, I will show you pictures. If
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what I was
not,
saying. If you have a
and it's
picture,
like, yeah, pictures.
hmm
It's and if it's 48 hours before, it's not 150. It's going to cost you 400,
because
$500
we're
to
going to
clean
bring
it.
the exclusive cleaners. We're
Right.
going
Yeah,
to clean it good. So
yeah.
I think that we can propose that as a solution, like moving forward, just because we've tried and tried and tried for many years. And this is just the only way we see it, us moving forward with it.
Yeah, I think another to the cleaning point, I don't know if Dr. Fazia brought this to the group, but I did have Sister Feliz like text.
You're muted,
Oh,
Camilla.
something happened.
Sorry. Yeah, I muted myself on accident, but Sister Feliz reached out to me on Monday morning and texted me, and she was really upset that the entrance area to the sports center in the garage where we were like cleaning up and sort of disposing of like the flowers and everything. She's really upset that it wasn't clean, and we were really confused because we thought that that was.
No, it wasn't the clean. I thought I explained that to you. It's not that it wasn't clean. She said she didn't expect us to sweep it. It was the water because it would damage the
Oh,
floor.
water.
So I think what happened is when we pulled out the flowers and everything, that foam that was left over, some may have been put in the box. I feel like the box is the culprit. Because if it was in a trash, I don't
No,
think it would
I
leak out.
it's all in the trash. I think it was some of the water that maybe spilled out of the vases.
No, that's a lot of water to spill out of the
No,
vase.
because
That was,
there's the water from the foam, like there's no way that would get all over the floor.
so
Because
how
the
do
water
you
absorbed,
get water from the vase?
like we had vases on the registration tables and
And they were all full of
and
water.
they were all full of
No,
water.
no, wait, Camilla. We would have seen this level, the water, the picture you shared. We would have seen that water before we left. I did not see any water
There
on
was
the
a little
floor.
water on the floor. There was. I saw it. But I didn't think it was a big
Oh,
deal.
no, no, no. That's a big deal. No, no, that's definitely us dropping the ball. If you saw it, we should have cleaned it up.
I mean,
We
we
should.
didn't have any.
That's water on any. But
It was, I understand that. I thought it was just a little bit. I didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, I'm sure everyone else saw it too.
yeah, anyone, you have a house, you cannot, water will destroy everything for you. Oh, if I saw that, I did not see it. If I saw that, I would not have us leave that behind. So that was definitely us dropping the ball. And I'm up here like defending stuff like, no, we didn't see it. I stuck, Allah knows I ain't lie because I didn't know. But no, if we saw that kind of water, that was not unacceptable for us to leave that behind. Um, Absolutely unacceptable. So now we know for next time because water damage would destroy things faster than, and they would, it would be costly. So they are charging us cleaning fee. I forgot how much is that.
Interesting.
$250 or so. But for the water to be so one, it stank. She said that place was very stinky when they got there, which I totally agree because water from flowers and stuff. And then the damage, the potential damage, those are two huge things that should not have happened. That should not have happened. I didn't see it, and I can honestly say I didn't, but had I seen it, we would have had to do something about it. There's no way that was acceptable for us to leave water on the floor like that. Even if we expect them to clean, no, that was just no. I wish I saw that. I wish I knew. I would have found some rags, some blanket in my car to put over that and wipe it off.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that maybe we should have paid a little bit more attention to that. I think that we were in such a rush in trying to get out that.
Well, no, what I'm saying is if we see such a thing, we should not overlook it. So
Yeah,
not
I didn't think it.
I didn't see
I
it.
thought it was like a negligible amount of water. Like it was. It
Do
was
you
a
have
bit.
pictures of what she's speaking
Yeah,
of?
let me find
I
it.
thought it was just like
to me it was like a tablespoon or two. Like I didn't think it was a big amount to
No, that was not a
that
tablespoon.
was what I remembered. So I don't know what happened between when we left and when she took.
That's why I'm thinking, hold on, let me put this thing down. That's why I'm thinking it was from the foam.
But the foam was all in the trash can. So how did that get on the floor? That's what I'm wondering. Because we didn't leave any foam on the ground.
No, yeah, we didn't. It was mostly like petals and
Can y'all see my screen?
debris.
That
Oh
was not
no,
us.
that wasn't us.
That was not us.
That was not us. That no, not at
That's
all.
why I didn't watch the whole video when she sent
Oh,
it.
that looks horrible.
That was
You see
definitely
why, like that's damage galore right there. But yeah,
I don't
um,
know where that came from. Was that might be from the trash can? Is it like leaking or something?
No, but go back to the
I
It could
don't.
be
or
leaking.
what's in that
It
box?
looks like
I
that
don't
box. It
That's
looks
what
like
I
something from
said.
that
I
box.
think it was in the box.
Yeah.
I think we put the foam in the box and it leaked. That's what it couldn't be from the trash can because
but
there's a
I
trash
can
bag in
imagine
there.
for the size of that box and what size of the foam creating that amount of water. That doesn't make
That
sense.
The foam has a
if
lot of
it's a
water.
substance that has a lot of water that sucks
It
in,
has a lot of
poss-
water.
yeah, it's
It's supposed
possible.
to keep the flowers alive. So I
No, I
see.
understand exactly
Oh, but
for
who
foam.
put the foam in the box? Like I looked at all the foam that we put away and I thought it was all in the trash can. I didn't notice any in the
Well,
box.
I don't think we can be sure of all that, but
Right.
clearly this
It's
is us.
that when we left, it did not look like that. That's all.
Yeah, when we left
No,
there, that was not there. We would have
We
seen
would have
that.
left it like
Everybody would have seen that. We didn't see that.
that's what I said. Camilla's the one that said she saw some water, and I was like,
yeah.
"You saw
No,
this?"
when
But
I said water, I mean a little bit might have spilled.
That's why, yeah, that's
It
why I
was
was
like it was
asking, could we
literally
see
maybe
it? Because I
like a
don't think we were
quarter of.
saying the same
It was
thing.
like a maybe like less than a quarter of a cup of like it was just a little bit of like
A
maybe
splash,
a
like water
splash.
splashed onto the
Exactly.
floor.
One of the vases tipped over and we like quickly like picked it up, but that was it. It wasn't. It did not look like that. So I
okay,
don't.
Camilla, you're the one that sent this to me. That's the. It's
I
not.
know. I didn't honestly. When she sent that, I was more shocked about her message. I didn't watch the whole video. I assumed it was what was from last night, so I didn't really.
Yeah, no, this is due
Oh,
diligence. I watched it immediately when you sent it, and I was like aghast, like, oh my gosh. So
that's
that's a lot.
that.
That's huge damage, and that's costly.
Yeah, for sure. Now I see.
That's costly.
I did apologize. I don't know. She didn't end up
I
calling
spoke
me.
to her, and she, let me see. I spoke to her. I apologized. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I think she's forgiven us to an extent. Um,
They're just coming back from
she actually
like almost $1 million in water damage repair to that
exactly. So I'm
space.
sure like that this totally like drove him up the wall. I actually called her. I called and called, and she said, I'm not available. So I just sent, apologies for this. If you need to clean up, we can return today to clean it up. She said, I didn't ask you to sweep on Saturday. Everything was left as it was, and that wasn't a problem, meaning like the cultural center. On Sunday, my team cleaned it, but this water situation is really unacceptable. I believe it's the water from your flowers, and because of that water, the area had very bad smell. I was generally very upset about it. So just apologizing. Um, and
My question is, so is it typical for like a cleaning team to come in after the event to clean up?
they could clean up immediately if they had time, but if it was past their
But
time,
all,
it would be the
That
next
was
day.
another
but
thing. I
another,
think the reason why we left the foam and like whatever was in the trash
there
can
were
right
no
there is because
trash
there
cans.
was nowhere to put the trash.
So here I just let's just move on from that and get to the point of what can we learn from this, which is next time we know foams have water. It's probably what the culprit for this. We should not leave the foam in a box, for
Where
example. We should probably move everything. We just because at the end of the day, this is also our community, right? And like Halima said, they just got off of doing a huge renovation.
yes,
Water
I
damage.
understand, but I'm saying we need a designated place for this is where you put the trash at the end of the evening if no one's coming. If there's no cleaning person, we need to know where do we put our trash.
Okay, Camilla, I'm saying we're both they're learning from us, we're learning from them. Hindsight is 2020. What I would have done, I would, if I, especially if I knew, I didn't know about the foam possibly making water, but I've learned this now. I would definitely want to like move that out the way. I probably would have even pushed the daggone trash can out of the space so that we know that all that's left is just debris that needs to be swept up, which we ain't got no broom and we don't have to sweep it. They'll do that. But just to avoid this kind of stuff in the future, that would be my take on things. Move
Have
everything.
you guys ever saw the from Home Depot? They have like it's like a portable what is it called? What am I thinking about? It's like when they have the construction, like it's like it comes really small, but you can have it open and to dump like a it's what
Like a
am I
portable dumpster, basically.
yeah, portable dumpster. That's what I'm thinking of. You can buy that from Home Depot, and it's something that's secure for all, just going forward. And
Because
it's I
actually,
don't,
you know what? Remember, I took all them flowers. It made like three big, huge things of compost for me that I took home. Imagine if we left that there, how much of a mess that would look. And I knew that that was not a good look. I didn't feel comfortable even leaving that. So this is for us. This is the tone I want to set for the Afia project. Let me put it that way, because I know I be extra sometimes, but I think for the organization, I want us to be people who are mindful of things like this. We go above and beyond and make sure that we want to leave places better than what we got it, the way we got it. If not, we'll try our very best to leave it that way. Now I'm super glad we took away the flowers, because that would have ticked, if I worked there, it would have ticked me off even further to see not just the flowers, but also the water. And it's like, oh my goodness, did you guys even think about this at all? We have to plan ahead. We cannot just say, well, we didn't know it. Yes, we didn't know. We've learned from this and we're going to move on, and we're going to move on with the attitude of, inshallah, next time we're going to clean things and move them out the way so that this kind of situation does not happen again.
Or
Yes, it's
yeah,
more work on our end, but for me, that's something that we ought to invest in order to save relationships and continue to build them.
yeah. I mean, I agree with all that. I was just saying it would be helpful for them to give us a space to put the trash at the end of the night. That's all.
Have a designated area. Like if we, what would have been helpful, or if we would have remembered the big black like industrial trash bags, we could have load things into, and that would have been very proactive on our part. But once we did that, where do we dispose of these bags? I think
Yeah,
that's just what we need to know. Where would we put that stuff? And you know, when you know better, you do better. So maybe next time that'll be something to discuss when doing the contract and making agreements at the end of the night when we clean up after ourselves. Where do we dispose? Where would you like us to leave it? Where do we dispose
yeah,
it? What is the expectation?
exactly. We asked the security guard, Brother Omar, and he didn't know where like we should put the stuff. So I think for us it was like, okay, we're just leaving it on the side, but obviously that caused the water to leak. So I mean, we could have done better, and inshallah, we will do so going forward. But I think having more clarity on what to do, because we're not familiar with the facility and
We
clean.
just didn't have a designated place, and we just have to make sure we figure that part out next time.
Yeah, inshallah. Go ahead, Dr. Rashida. Oh, did Rashida
But did
go?
I,
Oh,
no, no, no. I'm still here. Am I
no,
here?
did Camila drop off?
yeah, probably her phone.
Oh.
She'll be back. Go ahead, Rashida.
Okay. All this says to me is that it really, really, really emphasizes the importance that we have like a host that we hire. Because I agree with you, that is my model. It drives my like if we every time I have moved, it drives my family crazy. I will leave this place better than it was
Yeah,
than I
that's
had it.
the attitude.
So, but in that time, there's times when I can do it myself, or I know I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to pay someone to do it. So that just emphasizes to me that because everyone was exhausted. I think every single person here. So I can't imagine that now we're going to start sweeping and mopping and all that kind of stuff at the end of the day. No, it's just too much. So it's just so that just if anything else, a post event cleaner that we hire that we say, okay, make sure this is good. And then we can keep that model. And we can maybe that in conversations with them, we'll tell them that's what we'll make sure we do. But I just think, well, really, the expectation of just the fatigue that everyone had, that would have been for us to do ourselves a bit much.
Yeah. No, I get it. For my like you said, live it better than, and then we just stop making excuses and move on from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a scary puddle. Um, all right. Any more on that? Lord, we're not even on, oh Lord, we're not gonna finish this. Okay. Guest experience, continue white glove personal thank you moments. We had lots of those moments. I think we can just skip on this. I just want to get to the nitty-gritty. Reduce program
Cannot skip
complexity.
that. We
Say it again?
cannot skip that because that ties into how we want to facilitate doing the follow-up.
Evaluation.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So we had a wonderful suggestion yesterday by from one of our volunteers. She said, since we didn't have we have a relatively manageable number of participants, let's just say 150. Why don't we split that amongst ourselves? I count like nine. Did I count up to 10, 4, 8, 10, but around 10, 11, or 12 of us on the committee. We split the number of participants amongst ourselves and we all take, let's say, 15 to 20 individuals that we will personally reach out to. I'm talking about conference guests to say, thank you so much for attending. We hope you enjoyed it. Have a chit chat with them and, get their feedback, like verbal feedback and things that we can bring back to the committee for discussion, and also then share the evaluation form with them, encourage them to please fill it out and blah, blah, blah. And that would set us apart as, you know, an organization that really cares about what the guests think. And, we really care about the experience. We really care about their being part of this conference, especially this being our very first one. So I already have the evaluation form, which is long, I know. But that's the only way we can get, something succinct to really cover all the bases. But I think if we have this personal kind of if we're able to create a personal relationship with each person that we call, that might be helpful in encouraging them to like actually fill out the evaluation form. What do y'all think?
No, I like it. Um, just know, and it's not going to be the bearer, as far as a remind you, we still have this ebook, and there's going to be speakers and stuff like that we have to finish to also give people at the end. But so I just don't know what the time frame that you would like that
The
done.
time for evaluation is immediate. The evaluation should have been, sent out like immediately after, but I knew that I didn't finish it, first of all, but I knew that there were other things I wanted to really take time to think about and include in the evaluation. So I think latest evaluation, we need to send it by Friday, which is tomorrow. At the latest by Saturday, it needs to go out. Which I know that y'all would not be able to make the phone calls necessarily, but at least I want to send it out. And then even if you're making phone calls 1, 2 weeks out, you can remind them, by the way, an evaluation was sent to you. Could you kindly fill it out? Or you can also share the link. But again, kind of like creating redundancies so that they will get the evaluation form in 50 million different ways so they won't say they didn't get it. And then that would increase their chances of them actually filling it out.
And really, we didn't actually want to put in that much. We didn't want to require that much effort for everybody to call all these people. What we were planning to do actually was to just have a template text message that we already wrote out that we would all use, but just so that it's coming from an individual, and that way people feel a little more comfortable and feel a little more personable to respond or to actually do the feedback survey because it's coming from an individual versus like a mass email blast.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a call.
I like that idea, the text.
I like the text better. I think actually my gym uses that. They're like, "Hey, this is Coach this. Well, did you know that we're having this special?" Yeah. So they use the individual names of the coaches for the text.
Yeah.
Those are probably automated though, even though they use names.
Yeah, I think for us, I
I
think
didn't know that, Camilla, but I felt like I felt special.
I know.
And that's all
They
we
they
want.
use a system to do that, but yeah, that's the idea to make you feel special.
so. Are y'all up to it? Because the more people who volunteer to help out, the better, and
Oh, yeah, I
things are
think I
gonna.
like the text. I think the text is because I that's a lot of time calling people and talking. Hey, how you doing? How,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. I should have said text to begin with.
text. Yeah, text is good.
That makes sense. All right, cool. And actually, Deborah, because not everyone is here, can you just kind of put that in the group chat as a question? Let us know if you're interested in helping send out
What
first
question? No,
messages.
no. It's either we're doing it and everybody's splitting down, or we're not gonna do that. That's I don't think, I don't think we
Some
should go
people
like that
might
because
not
then
want
that
to do
adds
like
more work to people's plates.
I know.
If we split it down and we all have just 15, 10 to 15, let's be realistic. We have about 15, 16 numbers per person. How I already broke it up yesterday is, I mean, now we're kind of late and behind schedule, but I was thinking we had a week worth of time. If you wanted to send two texts one day, two texts the next day, two texts the next day, by the end of the week,
That,
No,
you
but
can
do
that's
it all at
fine.
once.
I know, I'm just saying how I
Right.
originally thought through it. Again, everybody, like, everybody has a lot going on.
I see what you're saying. I see your point.
Wait,
And
so
just
how many do we have to send each? 15?
15 or 16, but you're getting a template. You know what I mean? You just want to fill
You
in
have a
that person's
script
name.
already. You're just switching up
Yeah.
your names.
Which that way we could do it all at once, but I didn't want us to really put that pressure on ourselves. But, but I'm saying if we're going to do it as a committee, we're going to do it as a committee. It's not, oh, no, I'm not doing it, or I'm no. At least that's my opinion there.
I like that.
So we can come up with the script, that's okay, and then we just send it to the committee like, oh, hey, here's a
Try
script.
to come up with
We
the
can do
script
on our end is what we can do on our end is just give you the set of, give you the names aligned with the numbers
number.
somehow,
I
some way
I
to
started
make it
working
easy.
on something yesterday. But
Alhamdulillah.
Is it a brief text message? Oh yeah, you were in the call, so you would know.
I'll have to cut it down a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
I'm still trying to understand what is the benefit of one individual sending a template
Personalized,
out to
the personalized touch. So, Sister Sharima, if someone, her name is Khadija Abdurrahman, who never met you. And, so, and you introduce yourself. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sharima, and I'm with the planning committee for the Women's Health and Wellness Conference. Thank you so much for attending the conference. Just wanted to reach out to you to make sure that, you enjoyed the conference. I don't know what Amira's thing says. It just brings that personal touch to it, so folks are more likely to be more responsive. So if someone like that has any kind of evaluation or any kind of
Right.
complaint or kudos, whatever it is, they will feel more comfortable saying it to you. And then, you would also be the one to remind them that, by the way, an evaluation form will be sent out or has been sent out. Please and make sure that you fill that out. If you have any questions, let me know. It's a personal touch. You don't get this everywhere you go.
It's a way to
okay.
distinguish yourself from other organizations, and it's marketing,
Yeah.
basically. You're
And I
branding
think
yourself.
we can manage to do this probably like the
Okay.
first maybe 2 or 3 years when the numbers are still manageable. Of course, when it gets in the thousands, that's not going to happen. But I think we can also really learn a great deal from people. Of course, we won't be able to take in every single thing that everyone says because some people you can't please them. Um, but I get a sense that there'll be some very important and very useful information that they'll be sharing.
But
And
you can
isn't this
still,
part of our standards of excellence? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say you can still incorporate it even when you get bigger. Just like when you go to a conference, they say thank you for attending. That's just like an automated email that goes out to all the people that attended.
I
So
know,
that still happens.
I know. I'm just saying it won't be as personal as it is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
that's what I meant. But for now, they know that, oh, I got a question. Let me text a sister named Sharima. She texted me and asked me about this. And they can reach out to you.
And then you can ask them if they want, if you're interested in joining the committee, um, you know, you're, if they want, yeah, they're planning to come back next year, and then that, maintains a connection
Yeah.
you and the person.
Dr. Fauzia, also on the feedback, there's not a thing at the end of it that says anything else. Like,
Yes.
I don't see it.
It's before the let's get to know you or something, whatever I named that.
Connected?
Before let's stay connected.
No, you're asking like your things are specific. I'm saying additional comments. Like we need an additional comment section.
Okay.
Just at the end, because that's just like the catch-all, even if it's not used, but just to, have it as a catch-all.
Got it. Okay. I thought I did. That's what I was
I thought
thinking.
I saw it before too, but I don't see it now, just looking over again.
That's long.
Oh, snap. I can't edit it.
Just curious, how much longer are we going?
I think we're gonna get off in probably
This
after
is
a minute.
really long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we
And do
want to
you,
get, if we want to, they don't have to answer every single thing, but if we want to get a robust response, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a monitoring evaluation specialist in my previous life. This is what I do. So
Yeah, but is there a way if there's some things that could be
if you want to get
combined?
information about everything we want, have you looked at it? You got to look at it to really
I
be able
know, but
to.
it's long. It could be overwhelming. You're dealing with human psychology.
That's the
how
thing.
long would you say it takes someone to do this?
Deborah, how long did you do? You did it, right, Deborah?
I didn't do it, but just scrolling down to get to the bottom to see through all of it definitely took a minute because I was reading each piece. So that in
People
itself.
they might click off. They might
So
click
I mean, I hear y'all, and I'm not. That's what I said. I said it's long, but if you, what we lose in making it shorter is being able to assess every single thing that area
Okay,
that we want to assess.
okay,
That's
okay.
it.
Let's have a trade-off. Let's have a trade-off. Let's just do one more raffle for our feedback. We
Oh,
have something to raffle. Let's raffle something for our feedback.
okay.
what do you
Yeah,
mean?
that would encourage people to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
like because it's
who was
long.
the one, who was
It's
the one
long.
response that you had? Who did that?
What's that?
It was like one response. Who is the one response?
Oh, I don't know. Well,
I
not
think
me.
that was just someone
Second.
testing it out. It's because this is not shared. I hope nobody shared it.
I was gonna say it's
I
just only
haven't
on our
seen it.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me. I did it.
Okay.
Oh,
How long
okay.
did it take you?
I don't know because some of the things I couldn't answer because I
Oh,
didn't get to attend much. So
You're
it,
right, and that's how it's set up. If it doesn't apply, because not you cannot be in every single session.
yeah.
So you only respond to
Okay.
things that matter to
And
you and keep it
that's
clean.
okay. Yeah, this is an IT thing because if it didn't apply to me, I shouldn't have to see this.
it won't pop up.
Like it
Yeah.
won't pop up. So I love you. I love it. I love it as far as the detail and stuff. But people want to know two things when you have to tell them this will take you about this long. Usually they like 5 minutes, like things like that. That may
So
not take, but they shouldn't have to see like if it doesn't apply to them, they
okay,
shouldn't have to
let
see it.
me let
So
me
it's
let me
that's a
show you
different,
something.
yeah, it's a different
I get
format.
what you're saying. That's a Survey Monkey is great for doing that, but sometimes I don't know what happened with that one. Um, so on a scale of this is why I want y'all to like look at it to be able to actually give feedback so that we can make the changes. Um, there's a general overall feedback for the conference, right? And then we get to here, logistical space. That's everyone. Keynote speech, you get to, sorry, first start with the WHWC. If you didn't attend, you can always keep it. But there's no way for me to eliminate, even if I use the IT techniques that you're talking about, there's no way for me to just be like not show up. Like I'm not gonna ask you first, were you there when WHWC,
No, but
right?
there's
Okay.
types of surveys. I think maybe it's like okay, for first, did you say, and then if it doesn't, it doesn't populate the next question, so you don't see it. Like I'm just, yeah, I'm just. So that is our honest feedback. That is not, it's not. You're saying, well, look at what it contains. But a very good part about surveys is that it doesn't overwhelm people. And so, so like, so if I say no, I didn't go to the session, I didn't like you, it would just people like it like so it's one thing at a time, and then it will populate according to their experience. And I know that there's a way to do that.
I know
I'm a
there is
kind
a
of
way to do that. Not through Google Forms. It's going to be a paid subscription.
Mhm.
Um,
One trade-off, Dr. Rashida, that I gave to Dr. Fauzier earlier was to maybe don't just have it all appear at once, because even that in itself is overwhelming, right? Just
yeah.
scrolling from top to bottom. I think it's good that it has a lot of multiple choice things where you just pick, but it is long.
right. Did anyone do the survey? I actually did it. The survey that Dr. Arania was talking about. It was her mental health
Mhm.
survey.
I couldn't get it to pull up.
Yeah, it
It
didn't
it
open when I
wouldn't
first started
open,
opening it. Yeah.
and I didn't go back.
Yeah, it did open up for me, and that was hers. It was a long survey. It was talking. You had to. I think you actually have to put in, like words, like like actually typing in paragraphs. But it didn't feel overwhelming to me because it was like it had like a bar saying, okay, how much you had, like it had all those
And
incentives. Like, okay, that you're almost done, or you okay, you're only, you have this, then so it was like one question at a time. And I think if it didn't apply to you, it didn't like you didn't populate that for your survey. So yeah, all right. I know because it has to, you're like it has to come out. It has to go out. So yeah.
So, and Halima Thomas just said this in the chat, and same thing Deborah said. I can section it off so that only a chunk shows up at a time. So it's not like this endless scroll that you just saw. And so I can make each section be um a section. So that'll be the only thing that pops up on your screen until you move on to the next one. That's about what we can do to make it.
And I think for the time constraint, that would be at least that would be good. Okay.
Inshallah.
And
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, look at it if you have any extra stuff to add. Okay, where we at? Let me see where we can pause
sent
and
the survey, but the survey is no longer accepting responses, so we can't actually see the survey.
it said that?
No, like, yeah, the survey's closed.
I didn't close it.
Not
no, she's
yours,
not talking about yours. She's talking about
Oh,
Dr.
Dr. Ronnie is
Rania's.
talking about.
okay. I was like, I ain't closed it. What
She said
happened?
it was only open for like 24 hours when she showed it.
Oh yeah, I wasn't in there, so I don't even know. I
Oh,
just clicked on
yeah.
it, it didn't work. So
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's finish up here and then we'll pick up another time because I know folks got to go to sleep. Reduce program complexity, fewer breakout sessions, fewer resource-heavy elements, and provide meals on day 2. The meal was based on money. We were charging $40, $50. We couldn't put food. Um, but I think that was the biggest issue was how to afford the food for day 2. But I agree. If we can increase the cost, then that can be a thing.
Can we talk about the food in general? Because I got a lot of feedback about the food on day one and people kind of being confused about the French fries, and they were like, it's a health conference. Why are you guys serving fries?
I said, I said that.
Someone else said it to me too. Multiple people said it to me. And then they were like, it just doesn't go with like the kebabs and the chicken. Like they were like, it should, like they thought it would be like rice logically makes sense to go with those.
Right, and rice is inexpensive. Who did they create the menu, or did we select that?
I'm not
What
sure.
we selected, again, because the brother who coordinated everything was no longer available, we had to go through the menu changes like 5 times. So the
Wow.
final menu change request was Bulgar, but you see the French fries were provided instead of Bulgar, which is sort of comparable to a rice or a pasta,
So
to
yeah,
complement the
it's
meats.
a grain, right?
Yeah, grain.
French fries.
No,
Um,
I think honestly, I don't know if I necessarily want to go with their catering. And I know we did their catering in order to get like a lower cost for the place and stuff, but
Yeah.
I
Can we
I
just
I,
move
I
on?
always had the inkling, like it being a health and wellness conference, we needed to put more, again, we have time constraints, so I get that. But now that we're planning way ahead of time, I think we really need to put more thought into ensuring that it's a healthier option. Going with them was sort of like, okay, like we felt like in order to get all those perks, um, that's why we took on whatever it is. And then, like Halima said, it got changed how many times, I don't know. And it was not even completely clear. I know I left that conversation between you and Sister Felice because it was too much for me to even understand. Um, but the
Yeah,
food,
they were. It wasn't really in English. It was in Turkish, and you had to trying to figure out what food she was talking about. But also, the you always have a constraint there. If you're eating in their dining hall, you have to use their
this
food.
is what I was thinking, Halima. I think we should rent their cafeteria and it'll be just for us.
Mm.
That's another way to keep crowd control. And even if we have to do meals in sections, because I think there's a maximum number. I don't know how that would all work out seamlessly and all that good stuff. But I feel like we need to
Lunch A and a lunch B, something
something
like that.
like that. And we need to take control of that because I don't think there's a way to work around the issue of outsiders coming to eat our food, for example. Um, any given time, there could be a wedding, there could be an activity, something going on. We have zero control. But if we're like in a more a more controlled space like the cafeteria, and people have to show their badge, or we even give them a ticket, they have to present a
Or
ticket
like
in order to
wristbands.
a wristband. And I also think as much as I want us to kind of like have that full feel of like eating buffet style, maybe packed lunch would have worked better.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Maybe
what we
packed lunch.
originally agreed on, like with brother
That's
what
what I thought too, but things
yeah, but I don't know. I don't think Sister Felice was aware. Like he never told her what was going
you know
on.
what? I
We
think
didn't know anything.
we were making plans with brother Bosley
Yes,
that
brother
was
Felice,
not passed on to the catering
Sister
people.
Felice, yeah.
So they don't know what was going on. They just taking whatever they're being told last minute. So it was a breakdown along the way. But honestly, I think the way moving forward is for us to find an outside vendor, find a healthier option, secure a space like the cafeteria. Inshallah, we'll be in a better position to afford all of this. If whatever extra cost that's going to cost us, because it would help us ensure a better experience for people and even more sensible thing. Because Halima, remember I did say something about the fries. I was like, that's what we get. Can we get salad instead? Like I actually
Yeah,
said that.
yeah.
But I checked
And
out
he
of that
and he said
conversation.
sure,
Yeah, I checked out of that
but then he
conversation because it was
left.
too much. But I did the French fries did not sit well with me at all from the get-go. And I just didn't even know it would become this kind of mess. But yeah, we need to do better. Even I know that for sure. We need to do better with the food.
Another thing was I heard that some people got food poisoning.
No.
Yes, there was two sisters that threw up. I was made aware of
Wait,
this. It was
wait, on the day
It
of,
happened immediately.
immediately
that's
after they
not food
ate it.
poisoning.
That wasn't from us then.
No, no, it was
That's not,
after they, I don't know. I mean, that's what they said. They
They
said
don't
that,
work that fast.
it doesn't work that
well,
fast. And two
I don't
If it
know
was
if
an
people,
it was
allergy,
immediately
I don't know,
after
but
or if it
not
was a
food
couple of
poisoning.
hours later. I don't know
but
if it was, I don't,
Sorry,
even
Rashida, what did
still, with the number of people that we had attend, if only two people had that kind of reaction, it was likely something those two had, and it wasn't, more people would be sick.
and also in that short time frame, Camille, what were you going to say, Rashida? Doctor, you know this
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
we do.
Yes, to Jamila's point, yes, if you're going to have something that was mass food, all of like a lot of you, it would have been like, epidemic, or not epidemic, but
Exactly.
yeah, like like a lot of people would have been sick, not two people.
So,
Now,
and it wouldn't be that fast either,
if they
right?
had individual food sensitivities or allergies or something like that, that could happen within the matter of minutes. So that may be something else,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not food poisoning is that's very specific. That's a large amount of people and everyone getting sick at, like at a particular event.
So, okay, I guess I can't confirm if it was food poisoning, but I just know it didn't agree with a lot of people's stomachs, and people were, I don't know if it was, I know French fry, like, or
And that
French
would be
fries
the
aren't gluten.
case. I'm not surprised. It's Turkish food. Not everyone eats the same thing. Like it took me a
Yeah,
minute to
maybe
like
having
taste
more
their food.
options, like, because aren't French fries, they're not gluten free, right? Um,
I think I think they are potatoes
No, no,
gluten-free?
French fries are not gluten free. I think,
yeah.
yeah, maybe have
So
the it's a food sensitivity that probably
yes.
that they have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so things like that, maybe having more options for different people that have different dietary restrictions and things like that. Since we are like a health conference, there was a whole session on like gut health and like gluten and things like that. So that would have been nice
So
for people to have other options.
that I guess that is the, if I'm going to say, the I am team DCA. I still am, but the food and the even the
I'm
place
team
that is
higher out.
that's the con, because even what you guys are talking about as far as of lunch A and lunch B. I'm like, oh my
That's
gosh,
too much to
we
manage.
couldn't even get the breakout sessions. Okay, and then I'm thinking like trying to clean up on the place, and then even if you have people with individual boxes, the debris and the mess and stuff of that, it's that's a logistical nightmare. I yeah that so
No,
I
the
I
idea of the boxes wouldn't be bad, especially if we had it during a time of year where we could utilize outside
Let's
space.
say that.
yeah
We could have a
yeah
tent
So
yeah.
that would actually be a great idea. We just would have to have more trash cans and places for people to dispose of things, but it would happen so much faster. We get people through. I'm sure someone on the call has experienced iftar at DCA. They move those hundreds of people through there so incredibly quick and efficiently.
If we're able to use the outside. I love that. But I'm just saying in that, because I was at we ate together, right? We were in the you were eating
Yes,
with me.
yes, you and I. Uh-huh.
And it's so small. Like it's just so if we were able to use the outside,
We
like
would
that
need more space for sure.
yeah, that wonderful patio that they have right outside the
Yeah. All of that
the
was
front.
all of
Yeah.
an option for us. It was just cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that was open and available to us. It was just cold.
Maybe we might have to push it further into like September then.
Can they can they bring out, those boots that they have, those covered boots?
Yeah, the
Mhm.
tents. I call them
Yeah, the
tents.
Yeah, the
tents.
tents.
Can they
Yeah.
bring
It was
them out?
out. It was just cold. The only thing that stopped them from us from not having that was the weather.
Yeah.
Right. Hence why we should have it before daylight saving and, in the warmer months.
Yeah. Another thing was Sister Feliz, like we had made, so this goes back to Brother Fuzzly and him not communicating anything with her regarding the food and the setup. She came to me on Saturday morning and she was trying to negotiate where we should have lunch, and she was saying that the cafe wasn't available. And
At
I was
all?
at all. She was trying to cancel it on me. This was when you were it's around 10 o'clock or 10:30, right before the program started. She was saying that it's not available, and I was like, no, 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 that's not what we agreed upon. Like, you can't do that. This is like the day of. And she's like, okay, let me try to talk to like some people. And then she came back. It was like a back and forth. And she finally was like, okay, we can only have like, I think 60 people, and then the rest, the 90, have to be in the cafeteria in the guest house.
Y'all know that they booted us out of the Ottoman room because we were
Yeah,
supposed to have
they
that.
were trying to boot us out of it like entirely that morning. And I'm just like, you can't do that. Like, I didn't even bring it to anyone because I was just really hoping that I could resolve. Alhamdulillah, we were able to, but it was just like, she really, I don't know who she spoke to or whatever, but she didn't want us. She was like, the space isn't really available, or it's not the best space. And I'm just like, that's not what we talked about.
Yeah, please add that to the thing to talk to DCA about. That's a major one. All right, I think we're gonna stop here. It's late. Thank y'all so much for your attention. That's not unacceptable. So we made it to 4, to 3. Inshallah, we'll try. But I think moving forward, action item, I need to get folks' names and phone numbers and split it across, so you know who to call and be in contact with. But please, please, please take a look. Okay, I need to make that section off. Take a look at give me about maybe 30 minutes. Take a look at the evaluation form. I don't expect y'all to do it tonight because I know everyone's tired. But the sooner you give me feedback, the sooner we can make a draft, not draft, a final copy to share with folks. We want them to do evaluation relatively close to when the event happens so that we can get good responses. Folks can remember. All right, that's all I got. Thank you all so much. Jazakumullah khairan. Anything else to add to tonight before we end? Alhamdulillah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر بسم الله اللهم إني أسألك العافية في الدنيا والآخرة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته everyone.
وعليكم السلام.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.